Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, as quoted by Mr. Nelson Mandela. Education empowers individuals with knowledge, skills, and critical thinking abilities. Education can be a catalyst for social change and essential for personal and societal progress. It has the transformative power of addressing various global challenges, promoting equality, and ultimately making the world a better place. Let the chapters of your education unfold with brilliance and bring in a change in the world. We welcome the new batches of MSc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, Masters in Hotel Management, and Master of Arts in Indian Cuisine and Food Culture of the academic year 2023-2025 with open hearts and eager minds to join this momentous occasion of Orientation Day. We wish you good luck for embarking the journey that will shape your academic and personal growth. We also welcome all the distinguished guests, faculty members, and parents present here today. I, Dr. Reena Verma, Associate Professor, Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, and
I, Dr. Namrata Pai, Assistant Professor, Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, are honored to be your host for this exciting event today. As an expression of our gratitude to the Almighty, let us commence the ceremony with the invocation song. May I now request the AV team to play the song.
गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यगलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
Today marks the beginning of an incredible journey as you embark on your higher education adventure here at WGSHA. This orientation program has been organized to provide you with valuable insights, information, and inspiration to navigate your academic path successfully. Welcomgroup Graduate School of Hotel Administration is a constituent unit of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal, and was established in 1986 as a unit of Dr. TMA Pai Foundation in partnership with the Hotels Division of ITC Limited. Today, WGSHA is India's premier hotel management institute, which is committed to deliver excellence in education, research, and training for individuals aspiring to excel in the global hotel, hospitality, and hospital sector.
With a focus on extending the boundaries of student knowledge within the service industry and in the field of dietetics and applied nutrition, WGSHA provides a unique 2-year master's degree in dietetics and applied nutrition, master's in hotel management, and Master of Arts in Indian cuisine and food culture. Beside these postgraduate programs, WGSHA offers 2 undergraduate programs, that is, Hotel Management and Culinary Arts, emphasizing leadership development. Our extensive alumni network of over 3,000 professionals who occupy coveted positions worldwide in hotel administration, allied health, and research industries. As we stand on the threshold of this auspicious occasion, we have the honor of inviting our esteemed dignitaries to light the ceremonial lamp and offer floral tribute to our founder, Dr. TMA Pai. This age-old tradition symbolizes the dispelling of darkness by light and marks the beginning of this event with purity and positivity.
May I now kindly request our principal, Dr. Chef K. Thiru, our chief guest, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science MAHE, Dr. Narayana Sabhahit, Guest of Honor, Dr. Meenakshi Garg, our Vice Principal, Dr. P. Rajshekhar, invited alumni speakers, Ms. Abhilasha, Ms. Didhiti Chopra, Ms. Elizabeth Yorke, Chef Girish Nayak, Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand, Mr. Abhirup Bandopadhyay, and coordinators of all the 3 postgraduate programs, Chef Shama Vishwakarma, Mrs. Pallavi Mahesh Shettigar, and Dr. Rajashri Kini to come forward and grace us with their presence for this ceremony. Let us embrace this beautiful moment that signifies the illumination of our paths as we begin this new chapter of academic excellence.
With the lamp's radiance infusing our hearts, let us move forward together, guided by the light of knowledge and the spirit of this memorable day, offering our floral greetings to Dr. TMA Pai. I also request the dignitaries to stay for a group photograph. May I request our Vice Principal, Dr. Rajshekhar, to deliver the welcome address to the gathering.
A very good morning to all the distinguished guests, parents, students, and my dear colleagues. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you all for the orientation program for our master's programs, that is MSc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition 14th course, MHM Masters in Hotel Management 4th course, and MIC Masters in Indian Cuisine and Food Culture 3rd course. Late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam our beloved former president, once said, "Excellence is a continuous process and not an accident." We at WGSHA pursue excellence in all our endeavors. I, on behalf of our WGSHA team, extend a hearty welcome to our chief guest for this event, Dr. Narayana Sabhahit, Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science, MAHE. Sir has been a pillar of support in all our activities. A warm welcome to the guest of honor for today's event, Dr. Meenakshi Garg, Consultant Nutritionist, MAHE Fimer Fellow 2018, and former Coordinator, Dietetics Department, WGSHA. Welcome back to Manipal, ma'am. Greetings to all parents and students of master courses, and hearty welcome to WGSHA and MAHE. We thank the parents and students for selecting our institution for your higher studies. A warm welcome to Dr. Setu, our former faculty, and Father Lobo, our former faculty. Thank you for gracing this occasion, sir. A hearty welcome to our beloved principal, Dr. Chef K. Tirugnan Sambandam. Alumni has been our biggest strength. They contributed immensely for the growth and development of our institution. Today we have 7 of our alumni speakers who shall be addressing you all. A warm welcome to Ms. Abhilasha, Chief Clinical Nutritionist and HOD, Cloudnine Group of Hospitals, Bangalore, Alumna, PGDD 5th course. Ms. Didhiti Chopra, Learning and Development Specialist, Hyatt Regency, Pune, Alumna, BHM, 25th course. Ms. Elizabeth Yorke, Chef and Founder, Savings Grains, Bengaluru, Alumna, BA 1st course. Chef Girish Nayak, Chef Mithaiwala, Bombay Sweet Shop, Mumbai, Alumnus, BHM 18th course. Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand, Cluster Director of Revenue, Remote Revenue Management, London, Millennium Hotels and Resorts, Singapore, Alumnus, BHM 19th course. Mr. Rahul Pavitran, Director of Sales, Grand Hyatt, Gurgaon, Alumnus, BHM 20th course. Mr. Abhiru Bandapadhyay, General Manager, Holiday Inn Express, Hyderabad, High-Tech City, Hyderabad, Alumnus, BHM 20th course. Thank you all, dear students, for gracing this occasion despite your busy schedule. Hearty welcome to all our students, staff, and faculty members at WGSHA. Thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, sir. We are privileged to have with us some esteemed personalities who have been instrumental in shaping the college's legacy. As our new students begin their educational journey, who would be better to guide them than a visionary who understands the importance of innovation, persistence, and the art of transforming simple ingredients into extraordinary creations. Let's welcome our dynamic principal, Dr. Chef K. Tirugnan Sambandam. He is an accomplished chef, an erudite academician, a conversant leader, a proficient administrator, and an eminent personality with 33 years of experience both in hotel operations and academics. Scholastically, he pursued doctorate in foods and nutrition in 2022 from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. His study focused on the prevalence and assessment of antecedents of cardiovascular disease risk factors and the effect of the diet and lifestyle intervention among hotel employees. His research has been very relevant theoretically and practically for academic fraternity and industry professionals. He holds an MBA and is also adorned as a distinguished member of the esteemed Institute of Hospitality, London. His areas of functional expertise include academic processes and curriculum enrichment, hotel and kitchen operations management, cost containment and quality assurance, customer services and special events.
Dr. Thiru has been honored with several awards and accolades in the field of culinary and hospitality didactics. He was appointed as a national expert trainer for World Skills Shanghai 2022 for the culinary competition organized by the National Skill Development Corporation and Ministry of Skill Development. He received the Best Principal Award 2020 at Global Education Skills MSME and Entrepreneurship Summit Leadership Award from International Chamber for Service Industry. He is a recipient of Outstanding Achiever Award 2019 from Indian Federation of Culinary Associations for his significant contribution to culinary arts, and conferred with Culinary Educator of the Year Award 2018, jointly given by Epicurus Hospitality and Telangana State Tourism. He received Cochrane Fellowship Program in Culinary Arts in 2016 from the United States Department of Agriculture, associated with food endeavors in various US states. He has also been awarded as Best Culinary Educator of the Year 2016-2017 by the Indian Federation of Culinary Associations and the World Association of Chefs Societies, Paris.
Under his leadership, WGSHA has received the prestigious global accreditation from World Association of Chefs Societies in 2019 and Indian Federation of Culinary Association for providing relentless quality hospitality and culinary education in 2019. WGSHA has been accredited by the Hotel Schools of Distinction USA in the year 2021. What makes this recognition more special is the fact that WGSHA is the only hospitality school in the Asia Pacific region to be recognized with this distinction and is ranked 9th in the world. Dr. Chef K. Thiru has been instrumental in launching two unique and first of its kind master's program, which are MA in Indian Cuisine and Food Culture and Masters in Hotel Management.
He has contributed and facilitated some great milestones and best practices at WGSHA, such as outcome-based education, innovative research, alumni mentorship program, curriculum conclave, commercial restaurant and bakery operations, including various industry-academia interface programs, and alumni virtual lecture series. He is also a member of several governing council and board of studies. I cordially invite you, sir, to address the gathering with your enlightening words.
Morning, everyone. Chief guest and guest of honor, students, parents, our proud alumni, and industry professionals, my dear colleagues, thank you for being here. This morning, we have our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, as our chief guest for this Masters Orientation 2023. He is an eminent researcher, academician, administrator, and more importantly, very humble person. It is none other than Dr. Narayana Sabhahit, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So thank you for accepting our invitation. Dr. Meenakshi Garg, guest of honor. On this occasion, I would like to formally thank her for, she was our former HOD of MSc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition. And right from the inception of this MSc, even though prior to that, yesterday I was mentioning that we used to run postgraduate diploma in dietetics, she was instrumental, part of our team, and whatever the course got recognized, that the seed which was sown that under her leadership. Thank you, madam. You have done an amazing job, and we are continuing that legacy. On behalf of MAHE and IDC leadership team, our sincere gratitude and appreciation to you, what you have done for this institute. And students, I have spoken enough yesterday. I have taken through you about what is WGSHA, what is in it for you, and how you have to make use of this next 2 years while you're studying at WGSHA. Now, the proof of the pudding is today, we have lined up various alumni speakers. Now, let me start with Girish. He is from 18th course. Already my colleague Dr. Rajshekhar has introduced. Now, he is the only one person in India to have title of Chief Mithaiwala. You will not challenge. Maybe Girish has to go for some, copyright or patent. I don't know whether Dr. Sendil it's allowed. Right? But most of the professionals who look for a career, they want to have, corporate chef, executive chef. But why I'm saying all this? Because you see that the impact what is created. Yesterday I mentioned that what he has transformed from, he studied here and in the same hotel, he is a local boy, right? And he used to work without salary for 8 months. And with the same hotel bakery after completion his BHM degree, without any expectation, he used to come early morning, 3 o'clock, and work with our Hotel Fortune and Valley View team for baking hot croissant, Danish. Now, from there it started, and he was, had a plan to go to Culinary Institute of America. Then he went and pursued associate degree in pastry and confectionery. He worked almost renowned pastry chefs around the world, and then came back to India. He wants to contribute to our nation. Then worked with Olive's restaurant, and then from there, he wants to do something different using various cooking techniques. And if you see that, the way which he has transformed Indian sweets, and I think, the market size is such a large and have great potential. But person like Girish took a risk without, looking back and what people would say that, if I go into Indian halwa. So he traveled around India before starting, making Indian sweets. He spent, some time in Calcutta, west, north, east, and your own, hometown. And after that, he conceptualized, and 1 year secret trial they did in Bombay canteen. Then that business was conceptualized almost 8 years now. 5 years, sorry. 5 years, but the trial was almost 1.5 years, 2 years, right? So see that the dedication and passion. See, academic is one part, but you have to, create a niche for yourself. The example is Girish. Then Rohit Chand, Cluster Director of Revenue. Now, all these alumni who are here, the reason which we bring, I think we must thank our MAHE and ITC leadership team for supporting to bring all our alumni, and also we need to thank our alumni who's responding and giving back to their alma mater and as well as to the nation and the society. Now Rohit Chand, he is handling almost close to 8 properties and, doing a lot of things and taking care of our own alumni when they go. Yesterday we had wonderful evening when we met for the dinner. Going back to overall alumni came and then how they've been trained. So that is a bonding which develop when you have a WGSHA brand tag. It rest is assured for if you have passion and commitment and dedication, whatever which you have, professional goal, it's fall in place. So thank you, Rohit, for coming. And Rahul Pavitran used to be my ward as well as, right? So a lot of hidden stories are there that I will not share here. But he's found his partner in this Manipal only, right? So I used to be after him, are you focusing on studies or something else? But touchwood, he is doing very well and always very humble, and whatever you say, that smile, that is one of the essential ingredients to be a successful in hospitality field. But that he has. Thank you, Rahul, for coming. We have a young, most dynamic, one of the youngest IAG, GM here, Abhiru. He's always very serious, right? Okay, but he will not get along with me because he is F&B guy, so he will not come to kitchen that often. Okay, but whenever he comes, I'll take care of him, right? But, he's managing, such a beautiful hotel, and when we got to know that Abhiru has been promoted as a general manager, what we need, this current students really need to get aspired from, such a young age, you become a GM. But of course, there will be a lot of challenges, that will not come into limelight. But the only success when you enjoy, if you have desire to, give your best, always you will achieve. Of course, thank you, Abhiru. Next, Abhilasha. Okay. Always bubbly, smiling. right? All the naughty things she will do, but she's very good in academics, right? So yesterday I came to know more secret about her, what she did. Till the end I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. And always very dedicated, and she used to be, very humble whenever we asked her to come, with all busy schedule, she was ready to come any time. Last time, 3 months here just for a day to interact with our senior batch. And even for in terms of internship, all, support she gave us whenever we reach out to her. And also, all our alumni are part of our curriculum development. That's a great strength of WGSHA. Thank you, Abhilasha, for coming here. So, the next, Didhiti Chopra, she is developed, we could witness her leadership skill. She was a vice president and also course rep, and always very humble. And when we are in a student council, certain times, certain things which will not be, not that easy to get it done, but which her perseverance and that sweet smile, always she comes with a request, sir, this is what the students, and that is a great thing about Didhiti. She's doing wonderful job. Yesterday after dinner, there will be around 5 students were waiting in the lobby in hotel around 10:45. They said, no, madam, Didhiti has come. Yes, your madam? Yes, but okay, please go and meet her. She was our training manager, so we are so happy to see her. So thank you, Didhiti, for coming here. Elizabeth, she was first course from BA Culinary Arts, right? And we had very humble beginning in 2011 when we started 20 of them. This girl never confined her learning within classroom. She's always available 24/7 when you reach out to her, Ellie, right? Okay, that I need this. Can you give it to tomorrow morning? It could be something which, related to field visit or getting organized certain things for a department. She never says no. Okay. And the great thing about it, Ellie, that she was the one who first came with, sir, we are doing so much of work. Why can't we start with our department magazine? So she was the editor for Hungry Bird, right? Okay. So that used to... See, all these opportunities we will not list out. This has to come within. So when you have an idea, when we approach, we never say no to anything, right? So, and Eli used to work as, entire, all throughout there, right from the first year, second year, third year. The first year we had 20, second year we had 40, then the third year it went up to 90. So she was student council president as well. And also she won the best graduating award. And she won Chef Vikas Khanna's award as well. Congratulations, Ellie. Now, what work she's doing in the field of culinary, she's a change maker. She had, went and did masters in Italy, and then she came out with a lot of ideas. Now, in and around Bangalore, there are a lot of microbreweries are there. So much of barley used in the preparation. So all the used, barley, and which is going waste, or maybe cattle field. So saving grains, she started, something sustainable practices within the Karnataka. She started collecting and then started developing the novel products, right? Yesterday she gifted me that nice laddu, which is made from that, grains used for, beer manufacturing process. But you will not get drunk, okay, right? It's cooked completely. Now, the reason which I'm saying all this, you should be innovative. The live examples are sitting here, what they have done, whatever the position, whatever vertical they are heading, it's not overnight. It's a lot of struggle and hard work. And with that only you will be able to achieve. Now, students, you have chosen this institute with all, with so much of expectations and aspiration. Now, how will you achieve your goal depends on how you manage your time, how you manage your physical and mental fitness, and also how you make use of this infrastructure in terms of, faculty and labs, whatever available, it's up to you, right? So, anyway, you are going to meet so many of our alumni, industry professionals, and eminent academicians. So you will get a lot of opportunity to meet them. All that required is that you maybe having lots of talent, but talent without commitment and dedication, nothing you're going to achieve. I'm sure that each one of you have dreamed and aspired to something, but WGSHA will give you hand-holding, provided you take support from us. With that, I'll welcome you, all of you, to WGSHA. And parents, I know you all have a lot of apprehensions about what will happen to your ward. And yesterday, I have mentioned that they're all adults. They should know what is good, what is bad. And as long as they know their purpose, everything will fall in place. We will take care of them, rest assured, you can go peacefully. And there will be a department coordinators and the program managers. Whenever you need, you contact them. If not, I'm there, my team is there, you can contact always. With that, I wish you all the best and congratulations once again. And God bless you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for introducing our distinguished guests and for your inspirational words. Let us now welcome our chief guest, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science, MAHE, Dr. Narayana Sabhahit. Dr. Sabhahit hails from Idagunji of Uttara Kannada district, Karnataka. He completed his BE degree in Civil Engineering from National Institute of Engineering, Mysore in 1985 and obtained MTech and PhD in the area of Geotechnical Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Sir has over 34 years of experience in teaching, research, consultancy, and administration. He started his academic career as a lecturer in the Department of Civil Engineering at Manipal Institute of Technology in the year 1988. He served as the head of the Department of Civil Engineering, MIT Manipal, from 2004 to 2008. He served as the Joint Director and Officiating Director, MIT Manipal, from 2008 to 2011. His notable contributions are curriculum development for UG and PG programs, starting MTech program in civil engineering, implementation of ISO certification, and NBA accreditation for UG and PG programs in the Department of MIT Manipal.
Dr. Sabhahit was appointed as the Director Admissions MAHE in 2011 until 2015. During his tenure as Director Admissions, he has immensely contributed in strengthening the admission processes. He has also coordinated BTech online common counseling for Manipal group of institutions. He was appointed as the Registrar of MAHE Manipal in September 2015. During his tenure as registrar, he has exceptionally managed responsibilities entrusted on him. Along with other top leaders, he has successfully managed UGC inspection, IOE empowered committee visits, and NAC peer team visit. His leadership during the difficult times, including the pandemic period, is highly appreciated.
His area of interest include ground improvement techniques, optimum design of structure, earth reinforcement, and stability of slopes. He has published more than 25 technical papers in reputed international journals and conferences. He is the recipient of the prestigious Professor Leonard's Award for the best doctoral thesis submitted to Indian universities in the year 1995. His paper entitled Seismic Design of Semi-Gravity Reinforced Earth Wall was awarded the best paper during the Indian Geotechnical Conference held at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in December 2008. He was bestowed the Incentive Award for Faculty Research and Scientific Publication instituted by Manipal Academy of Higher Education during the year 2002-2003. Dr. Sabhahit is a reviewer for Indian geotechnical journals. He has delivered invited lectures and seminars, short-term courses, and workshops. He is a life member of various professional societies like Indian Geotechnical Society, Indian Society for Technical Education, Institution of Engineers, and Fellow of Indian Association of Structural Engineering. Your esteemed presence here is our privilege as we seek your guidance and wisdom, sir. May I have the honor of cordially inviting Dr. Narayana Sabhahit sir to share his invaluable words of wisdom.
Very good morning to all of you. Today is, a beginning of a new chapter for all those students who have joined workshop. I am sure you have come from different institutions. You must have done your undergraduates from various institutions which has different backgrounds. I don't say that they are inferior to workshop, but certainly they are of different levels. Thank you for choosing workshop, in particular, in general, MAHE as your destination for your master's program. I don't want to say that we are providing a lot of things, the infrastructure, good faculties, all those things, because I am from MAHE, so in a very high position. So if I tell anything, it looks like as if I am boosting myself, right? So that's the reason why we are here. See a lot of alumni. They are the best person to tell you about the institution, about your future. It is not me or even the principal. And this is the only institution where I can see a lot of alumni come to the orientation program and address the newly joined students. I rarely see in other institutions, maybe here and there one or two, not more than that. So this itself will speak clearly that the workshop, the experience that they had during their students' life here, that brings them to this place again and to address and share their experience with the newly joined students. I feel you are really lucky because very rarely you find this kind of occasions in any other institutions. Now, workshop, as you know, we started way back in 1986. So almost, the more than 35 years. And when we started this program, we wanted to have it in a different way, unlike other, the hotel administration institutions. We wanted to have it more of experiential learning. So what is meant by experiential learning? Because most of the time in any institutions, in any professions other than medical and dental, it's basically a classroom teaching. But then how to distinguish workshop from a regular classroom teaching? So we thought that let us have a hotel. In fact, it was a wellness club earlier. When we started, way back in our founder started, it was just a wellness club. So later, what we thought, let us have a brand of ITC, Welcomgroup, and see that this will be a lab. In fact, this hotel is a laboratory for you. You will have the first-hand experience how the hotel is, how it operates. So that was the idea. Based on that, we had, in fact, it is 50 years of agreement with ITC. Nobody will do that kind of agreement of something like 50 years. So that agreement, with that, we have that brand, Welcomgroup, and of course the MAHE brand for the learning and teaching. So with that background, we started this, and of course it's growing. Now, how Manipal is perceived, because that's very important. Whenever you look for something, even to buy something, you look for a brand, right? So how Manipal is, the look from outside. I am sure you must have done a lot of homework before joining this institution. Yesterday I was traveling from the Bangalore to Mangalore by flight. I was sitting, the adjacent to me another young boy was sitting. The moment I came and sat, he asked me, "Are you from Manipal?" Yes. No surprise asking me because I was wearing Manipal shirt. Okay. So this is not the first time. Whenever I go out, if I am wearing a Manipal shirt, I am sure somewhere or the other somebody will ask me, "Are you from Manipal?" Yes, I said. Then I asked him. He said, "I am from MIT. Third year I am studying." Okay. Then I asked, "You are from which place?" He said, "I am from Guwahati." I asked, "Why are you coming from Guwahati to here, Manipal, to study engineering? There are so many colleges." He said, "The whole family and my relatives, many of them, they studied in Manipal." So that's how, it spreads. Like, if one studies here, goes back, he spreads. This is the place you must go and learn. About WGSHA, other day, in fact, I asked Thiru to find out who is that lady. German consulate was here in Manipal. Because he met Thiru also. So we were just discussing. He is stationed in Bangalore. He is from Germany. So obviously we thought that his life in Bangalore. So he just asked, "How do you like the food in Bangalore?" He said, "It's okay, manageable." But then he told one thing, that there is one restaurant in Yelahanka nearby. There is one chef, I really liked that food. I quite often go with my friends to eat that food. He also told the name of the owner. Then by curiosity, whenever somebody is making something big, name or something like that. Just we, went to LinkedIn and we found that she is alumna of WGSHA. See, that's how, the WGSHA name you can find everywhere. It's resonating all places. My dear students, see, this is the place where you can already, principal has told, you can do a lot of experiments. Other than what our teachers will tell you, what others, they give the experiments, do a lot of things in the kitchen. But you have an opportunity here to learn more and more. So we have just here created a platform for you to perform. Of course, you have to perform. We can only support how to perform, but on the stage you only have to perform. So I'm sure you will take this as I am sure once you graduate from here, you have ample opportunities, particularly nutrition, dietetics and nutrition, and even other very good programs. All the three programs are exceptionally good. Of course, nowadays, dietetics and nutrition are very, very important. If you look at the doctor's profession, what he does, when the sick patient comes, he'll try to treat them, right? Of course, he expects, indirectly more and more patients to come for his business. But nutrition is not like that. He wants to make sure, the people are to be healthy. Intentions are really good, right? You want to make them very healthy. Nutritious food, how it has to be given. Even if one person is, nutrition at home, he will see that in his family, whole family, that, he will make sure that, everybody takes good food, right? So that is how your profession is. You must be really proud of it. It's nothing less than any other professions. So I'm not going to spend a lot of things here because I think a lot of you have to hear from actually the people who have completed their bachelor's and master's from here, you must hear from them rather than hearing from us. Okay, so other things, of course, Manipal is always, even from the beginning, it's leaders. We are not followers, we are the leaders. Many examples I can give as a leader. Our founder, Dr. T.M.A. Pai, when he started medical college in 1953, it was the first self-financing medical college in the country. That was the 29th in India. And what happened after that? Others have followed it. Now we have almost 50% medical government college and 50% private college. Similarly, I can give n number of the examples wherein we started and others have followed it. So all the best for you, all the of course the parents, you don't have to worry, we will take care of them, except that make sure that they don't go to the beach. Beach is very rough, and in fact in the past we lost many lives. So don't go to the beach. Even if you go there, just they can relax there, but just don't get into any kind of the adventurous things. Of course they will student welfare certainly will advise you, don't do that, and otherwise just follow whatever the university or the institution guidelines. I am sure you will come out with a very good WGSHA graduates, and I am sure in fact the country needs people like you. They are all waiting for you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have been fortunate to have you here with us. May your wisdom and constant encouragement continue to inspire us to reach new heights. We sincerely appreciate your gracious presence and the constant encouragement you have bestowed upon WGSHA. Now I cordially invite our principal, Dr. Chef K. Thiru, to felicitate our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor with a token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. As we gather here to celebrate this momentous occasion, it brings me great joy to introduce a truly remarkable individual whose accomplishments have garnered respect and admiration. Please join your hands to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Meenakshi Garg. Dr. Garg is a nutrition consultant and former coordinator of Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition at WGSHA. Dr. Meenakshi has dedicatedly served MAHE for 27 years. She started her journey as a visiting lecturer at WGSHA, served as an assistant professor, Department of Community Medicine, Manipal College of Medical Sciences, Pokhara, Nepal, and associate professor in the Department of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, WGSHA. She served as a coordinator for the department from 2009 till 2021. A firm believer of lifelong learning, she also did an international fellowship in interprofessional education and practice from the MAHE Famer International Institute of Leadership in Interprofessional Education from 2018 to 2020. She has been instrumental in shaping the department since its inception and has played a vital role in the department's growth and progress. She has to her credit 15 research publications in various journals of national and international repute and has conducted many workshops in the area of nutrition, research, and health education. She is a PhD co-guide, subject expert, and reviewer for Elsevier journals and has guided over 95 postgraduate research projects. Her areas of research interest are community and clinical nutrition. We are thrilled to extend an invitation to our guest of honor, whose influence and achievements has inspired countless individuals. Your presence here is a testament to the significance of this moment, and we eagerly await your insights that will undoubtedly enrich our minds. Please give a round of applause to ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Reena, for that introduction. And greetings of the Rashtriya Poshan Maha, everybody. This month we are celebrating as the Rashtriya Poshan Maha as declared by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Government of India. A very good morning, Dr. Narayana Sabhahit, Pro Vice Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Dr. Chef K. Thirugyana Sambandam, Principal, WGSHA, Mr. P. Rajshekhar, Vice Principal, WGSHA, my dear former colleagues, Father Lobo, Professor Setu, all the WGSHA faculty, invited guests, and all our beautiful and handsome alumni speakers. Girish, Abhilasha, Didhiti, Elizabeth, Rohit, Rahul, and Abhirup. I've taught you all at your different time points, but today I am very excited to hear from you and to listen to you and your achievements. And thank you for a wonderful evening yesterday. I also take this opportunity to extend my greetings to all the parents, relatives, siblings who have come along to lessen the apprehension of the freshers. And last but not the least, the 2023 class of MSc Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, MA Indian Cuisine and Food Culture, and Masters in Hospitality Management. Congratulations to all of you on joining the world of education at the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Our alumni, as you've been hearing, and our students have put WGSHA and MAHE as a whole on the national and the international map literally and made us all extremely proud. So that's quite a legacy that you have to carry forward as you move along. I would like to sincerely thank Chef Thiru for inviting me for this program, and thank you WGSHA family for the warm hospitality. This is like homecoming for me, and I feel truly blessed and honored. I've been hit by a wave of nostalgia from the time I have arrived, and have been very, very happy to see the growth and the progress that has happened in less than the 2.5 years that I have not been here. Very happy also to know that WGSHA is now offering a PhD in nutrition sciences. That is a huge congratulations on another meaningful milestone, an excellent opportunity for all the nutrition postgraduates. So the prime resolve, why do we have an orientation program? The prime resolve is to help new students to understand the nature of the university, the educational opportunities that are available to you, to provide information and awareness necessary to help you to acclimatize to university life, to create an atmosphere that minimizes your anxiety, promotes positive attitudes, and stimulates an excitement for learning. It will prepare you for what's to come, what to expect, and how to make the best of these next 2 years that you're going to be here. And I'm sure that is something that is going to happen over the next few days when everybody in their own capacities will be orienting you to not just the curriculum, but also the infrastructure and all the other facilities that you have available here for your benefit. Education is not just acquisition of knowledge, but also formation of character, and therefore it's going to play a very pivotal role in all your lives. Better education gives one the power to change their life. It changes mindsets completely and develops confidence that in turn helps in building our personalities. It facilitates learning, increases knowledge, and also helps you to enhance your skill sets. The main purpose as to why you are attending college is to develop to the utmost, and not just for now, but for a lifetime, the ability to use reason to see clearly. So you're not just acquiring some academic knowledge, but that is something that is going to help you for a lifetime. Better education gives one the power to change their lives. So for the next 2 years, you will hone that ability by, among other things, making your own choices about your own education. The university is a welcome to adulthood, to ambiguity and ambivalence, and to the difficulty of making choices responsibly, which you will be frequently called upon to do so. I would just like to read a small extract from the Meditations 5.1 on self-discipline by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor, and I quote, "On those mornings when you struggle with getting up, keep this thought in mind: I am awakening to the work of a human being. Why then am I annoyed that I am going to do what I am made for, the very reason and the things for which I was put into this world? Or was I just made to snuggle under the covers and keep warm? It's so pleasurable in the morning. Were you then made for pleasure? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, and the bees going about their individual tasks as best as they can? And why then are you not willing to do your job as a human being? In short, ask yourself, are you here to be coddled or to exert yourself? And that's an answer only you can give yourself. I unquote. Manipal has everything to offer you. And like Dr. Sabhahit said, it's not we are going to keep telling you that Manipal has this, Manipal has that. You will be able to see it and experience it for yourself. So it's up to you to get going and make the best use of the resources and the opportunities that are available to you. Specifically for the MSc dance students, it is an auspicious time to commence your program, right in the middle of the Rashtriya Poshan Maah. Interest in the role of food and nutrition in promoting wellness and preventive care, particularly in their healthcare settings, continues to increase. And the importance of diet, as we all know, in preventing and controlling certain illnesses is now well established. And more professionals like you will be needed to provide care for the people who have or are at risk of developing various conditions. And now we have a huge risk of what we call as the diet-related non-communicable diseases. Moreover, also as the population is aging, and we have a huge aged population. If you look at the age pyramids, it has changed over the years, and we have more elderly people as we used to have, let us say 2 decades back, as we have now. So they are also looking for ways to stay healthy, and there will be more demand on your services as we move along. But at the same time, what we have to understand, despite all the advancements that we've had and all the scientific understanding and research, you will all bear with me when I say that we have still not been able to tackle the issue of malnutrition, as we all know, which is still there in large numbers. There have been strides, small strides, but we haven't been able to make. Yes, we are back. So as I was saying, that is a big issue that we have. And earlier we were only grappling with undernutrition. Now, with a lot of changes in our diets and lifestyles and the nutrition transition that has happened over a period of time, we are also worried about overnutrition. So what we are dealing with right now, in not just India, but various Southeast Asian countries and the low and middle income countries, is what we call as the double burden of malnutrition. And as per the Lancet series on the double burden of malnutrition, I'm not going to give you a lot of statistics, but one simple fact that we have to remember, every third person, we say, has some or the other form of malnutrition. It could be in the form of underweight, it could be stunting, it could be just overnutrition in the form of obesity, or it could be a non-communicable disease. We know diabetes is something that is proliferating so much in our own country. And then, of course, you have the hidden hunger in the form of the micronutrient deficiencies, that is the vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So that's not a good statistic to have, that every third person is going to show some or the other form of undernutrition or overnutrition. And this is something that I discussed in a little bit more detail yesterday with my session with the second years that I had yesterday. So what is it that we need to do when all that is happening? We need to shift and refocus and make sure that all households are not just food secure, but also nutrient secure. And what can you do? Because those sound like big terms and it's a big problem. So how can you help as professionals who are beginning your journey and entering the industry? Start by small steps, very, very small steps. When you meet people, whether it's in the community or anywhere, stress on eating seasonal, homegrown, and locally available foods. And right now, there's a lot of stress that is happening on millets, and not without reason. It is with reason, it is with good reason. And I've now started coming across a lot of people who have changed at least one of their meals they are having only. So the cereals are good, they're giving us a lot of energy, but remember the millets have an added benefit of giving you immunonutrients, phytonutrients, micronutrients, fiber, you name it, and the benefits are immense. And it's available in good quantities that is coming from there. And what is the best part? They are affordable. It's not something that people have to worry about. And also growing millets is easier than growing cereals also. So it works overall, in general it works better. So also what happened was, if you think about it, what impact did COVID have on eating habits? Did it change how we were eating and how things happened after that? It changed. And it was very heartening to see that people started taking care of their own food and their responsibilities increased because there was not very much coming from anywhere and people were at home. And they were also encouraging each other, and the social media was full of people putting recipes and ingredients and immunonutrients. And we did have some students do a study wherein we found a huge difference in what people were consuming pre-COVID and what they started consuming during COVID and post-COVID. So understanding the preventive benefits of nutrition, little bit we will have to thank COVID also for that. Now, I don't want this to turn into a Gyan session or anything, because that's something that I really don't want to do, but a few key messages for all the postgraduates here, not just the MSc dance students. First one, and this is something I used to tell all the batches of students, is to read. Please get into the habit of reading. Textbooks, fiction, non-fiction, newspapers, relevant magazines in your field. Journals is something that comes a little later, but now that you are postgraduates, please do that. Okay? The more you read, the better equipped you are. Social media is good to get knowledge, but then please move away from those WhatsApp universities and the Google universities that we are getting very used to. It's very easy to get into that, but reading is something that is on a back burner right now. So you need to do that. It's a great habit and a lifelong companion. As postgraduates, you now need to be self-regulated learners and go beyond what gets taught in the class. And this is something you'll hear in all the syllabus, that self-directed learning is important. It is very important, because there's only so much that can happen in a classroom. Another thing that you need to remember is to do evidence-based practice or work wherever you're working. You know, a lot of the times we start a sentence by saying, I've heard so-and-so say that, or they say that this is how it happens. But you're not talking from a fact, you're talking from hearsay. So what is important, when you read more, when you get more evidence in your hands, so you have the power in your hand. So then you talk with confidence. You start by saying, I read, or I researched, or so-and-so study said that. So make yourself educated on your own. And the only way to do that is for you to read. Another thing, don't get caught in the rat race for marks or ranks. Doesn't help. You are putting undue pressure on yourself. It doesn't work. Learn for the sake of learning, for expanding your knowledge, acquiring a skill, or even just understanding a concept. And when you are doing that, somewhere along the line, you will realize that you are enjoying that process of learning. Because you are not running after the marks and you are not running after the ranks. I'm not taking anything away from the toppers, please. This is not about that. This is just making you feel comfortable at your own pace of learning. Don't compare to anybody else. And we all say that, be a better version of yourself. We hear everybody say that, but that's how it works. Success will follow when you keep learning and you do your best. And there are innumerable examples when you start thinking about it. There are so many people who are not toppers, who have not been rank holders, but they are doing very well in the industry or in their field of domains or the work where they are doing, because they understood what they were supposed to learn and they understood their work more than the marks. You get your rank, you can't even hang a certificate anywhere to say that you are a rank holder. You may get into a job because of that, but then to sustain there, you will have to have the goods in order to move ahead that you have to do. Another important thing, and this is something you would have heard many number of times, is to be good listeners. Be good listeners, be compassionate, be empathetic, and be fair. And when we say be good listeners, it starts when we are talking to somebody and we want them to say something. If you start with the assumption that they probably know something that I don't know, then we listen. But if we start with the assumption, oh, what are they going to say? I already know everything, then you're only hearing. Then it's not registering. The words are coming in, but you're not really listening to that. In this phase of your life, as you now enter the postgraduate program and you move ahead with your professional careers, you will face many challenges, and also you'll have to make some very important decisions about your professional as well as your personal lives. So that's something you need to be aware of. Also, don't lose sight of the larger picture. You will focus on one area, you will specialize in one particular area, and that's important because that's how the world is moving. But then, I'm sure if I ask you a question, let us say if you go to a hospital for treatment and you go to a specialist, and that specialist doesn't have the answer to the problem that you have, what do? They keep telling you to go to another specialist and another specialist, and you get irritated. Why do you get irritated? Because you know that they all are doctors at the base of it. So how come they are pushing us here and there? Don't they have at least a broader perspective of what we are asking them to do? So think about that for yourself also. Okay? Don't get into that very narrow vision or that tunnel vision and focus yourself on that one specialized area. It's not going to work. You will become an expert, that is no doubt about that. But you still have a very big role and a responsibility in the society. You are the future leaders. You are the change agents. As Chef Thiru was saying, the change makers sitting here. And like I said, I'm excited to listen to them as well. So you have to take cognizance of the critical societal challenges also. So you have to take people along. There was a civil rights activist, Cesar Chavez, and he very rightly said, we cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community in which we are living. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and also for our own. And I unquote. Very important also to understand the difference between training and education. If I had the time, I would have asked you for the answers. But what is training? Training is when you are preparing for something that is known. Okay? What is education? Education, on the other side, is preparation for the unknown. And that is something, a thought that you should remember. Even after you finish this course and all, you are still going to live, God willing, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. Okay? So if you get educated and you educate yourself well, broadly across a range of human interests and endeavors, you will be ready for many more years of intelligent, informed, creative engagement with the unexpected. Everything is not something that you know what is going to happen. A lot of it is unexpected and in the gray area. And last, finally, but not the least, very, very importantly, please continue learning lifelong. Everybody says lifelong learning. Lifelong learning can be as simple as learning a new skill. And if you've heard carefully how everybody has explained our introductions, whether it's me or Chef Thiru or anybody, we have finished our PhDs after a long gap of our masters. It's taken us that much time to get back to studying and get back to that and complete it. So that's another end of it. A small example of my grandmother, God rest her soul, she's no more, but at the age of 90, when she realized that all her children and grandchildren were on the phone and she could connect with them, she on her own took the initiative and she said, I want to learn how to make WhatsApp calls or video calls, because especially the grandchildren were all over the world, spread all over the world. And believe you me, at the age of 90, she demanded a smartphone and she learned how to use the smartphone very efficiently. And she even learned to write small messages to us and to her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren for that matter. So there's no age, literally there's no age, it's up to us how we perceive lifelong learning. We say research, create, innovate. It could be anything that you want to do, but please continue lifelong learning. It is something that you can do all your lives. So keep yourself equipped, keep yourselves updated, and as Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and stop not till your goal is reached. So thank you very much, everyone, and God bless each and every one of you. Welcome once again, batch of 23. Have a healthy, happy, and academically rewarding 2 years. at WGSHA and at MAHE. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Your kind and insightful words are sincerely appreciated. Thank you, ma'am. The wisdom shared by you has not only enriched us intellectually, but it has also touched our hearts. We are privileged to have a distinguished lineup of alumni speakers from the industry who have graciously agreed to share their insights, knowledge, and perspectives with all of us. To begin with, let us extend a warm welcome to Ms. Abhilasha. She is the Chief Clinical Nutritionist and HOD of the Cloudnine Group of Hospitals, Bangalore. She is our alumni from Postgraduate Diploma in Dietetics 5th course. She carries a hands-on experience of 14 years in the industry and has been awarded the certificate for being the topper in academics in the PGDD course at WGSHA in 2009. She has been the personal nutritionist for the erstwhile Cabinet Health Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Sriramalu and family as part of job role in Columbia, Asia. She has been bestowing many health talks to large audiences at leading corporations like Philips, Walmart Labs, ABB, HPCL, Alcatel Lucent, Tata Advinus Therapeutics, Novel Technologies, Tesco, and Zoomcar. She has worked as an educator in the Food Safety School program conducted by Foundation of Food Research and Enterprise for Food Safety and Hygiene. Besides all this, she has written many articles for Jagran Sakhi, Commodity India, Hindustan Times, Femina, Times of India, India Today, and NDTV. I extend a warm invitation to Ms. Abhilasha to share her journey and experience with us.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Chef Thiru, for inviting me to this event today. It is a great honor to be here, back to college, in front of esteemed faculty, my ex-mentor and ex-professor, Dr. Meenakshi, and so happy to be with the students here today. I'm going to be just talking to you a little about my journey and what it takes to get through 2 years of MSc and what to expect in the real world once you finish the course. Okay, so before I start my session today, I would just like to know where are the MSc dance students so that I can, okay, they're scattered all across. Okay, good to see you all. And it is nice to address the gathering because this is the set of master students. So all of you have already, come through a journey where you have understood what you like, what you want to do, where you want to actually focus on. So it would be, my session might be useful for those of you who are looking to totally deep dive into the clinical world. So let me just start taking you through the presentation I have here. So this is just the batch photo. We were just a little small batch of, 6 of us. And you can see some of your faculty here as well. So it was a really tiny batch. So the professors could give us like really focused guidance and scoldings, of course. But they've really helped, put a lot of energy into shaping each of our careers. And if you look at the picture here, I have my colleague who is a professor here now, Swati, so it's really great to be back. Yes, so this is just some of the snippets of my time here at WGSHA. So when we did PGDD, it was a 1-year course, and we had to learn so much in that 1 year, including our labs and outreach and community and hospital postings and, the internship. So it was an intense 1 year of PGDD. So whatever you're learning spread out in depth over the 2 years now in MSc Dan, we had to sort of compress it into that 1 year. But the learning we had is unmatchable because of the, kind of methods of teaching we had, the exposure we had, whether it's in terms of having clinical postings at Kasturba Medical College or the Anganwadi visits around Manipal, Karkala, where we were taken. The on-ground learning was so rich, along with, of course, the textbook syllabus that we had to cover. So that has given us a very solid foundation to, chart out our paths and find our way in the world. So this is just a little, so what you see here is our class pic, and we had to put up a stall for the annual day. All of you will get to do that as well, and it's very exciting and very intense few days of work in the kitchen. Okay, of course our stalls are very healthy. They might not be as fancy and exciting as the hotel management students, but if anyone's really health conscious, please head to the dietetics stall. Okay, and yes, you see the lab here. So we had two kinds of food lab that we had to work in. One was dietetics, clinical nutrition, where we had to measure 30 grams of rice, 60 grams of rice, and how it is used in diabetic diets, etc. The other one was quantity cookery, which was headed by Thiru sir for us, which was a shock, because going from 60-gram rice cooking to kilos of it in the big vessel was like, so do we really need to make so much? Is it going for a waste? Who is going to eat so much? So we had to learn two different areas of things in the food lab, but both were enriching. And I think we had our batch had the privilege of being taught other quantity cookery and food service management directly by Thiru sir. So I know the college has grown and the batches have grown in proportion. Sir's role has enhanced in the past few years, but I think we were lucky to have his guidance through those years. Okay, so now coming into, to talk about what I really do. So I work at Cloudnine group of hospitals. It's a chain of hospitals spread across major cities in India, which deal with maternity and pediatrics and also focus on fertility as well. So I have been with Cloudnine for the past 10 years, but before that, I started my career. So you will see my first job photo on the next slide. Request the audience try not to laugh. Yeah, so that was my first job at WGSHA hospital. So what I'm wearing there is the uniform the hospital had. So usually hospitals are thought of as very dark, morbid places, but they try to give us a floral uniform to, make it easier to interact with patients or for ourselves to feel happier when we dealt with patients. So that was my first job at WGSHA, which is now acquired by Manipal Hospital. So we don't have WGSHA hospitals anymore. A few years ago, they were taken up by the Manipal group. So when I was at WGSHA, I did handle multi-speciality. So we had to deal with renal, cardiac, ICUs, your parenteral nutrition, tube feeding, all of that. And what I did is, even though I spent 3-4 years at WGSHA, I kept doing a lot of additional courses on the side. So when I was at the hospital, there is everything that you're exposed to, all kinds of conditions, all kinds of areas of expertise. But the more and more I spent time, I've realized, or I found my calling, that I think working with kids or working with children is something that really motivates me, or the impact can be seen for the rest of their lives. So I did a course from pediatric nutrition while I was working from IGNO, and that is what led my journey to joining Cloudnine group of hospitals. So at Cloudnine, we handle mothers very closely, lactating moms, pregnant moms, mothers-to-be, mothers planning, on their second child or twin pregnancies, pregnancies with complications. So once, I got into this, I further realized that, like Meenakshi ma'am said in her talk, that the malnutrition issue is so big, even in urban populations. All of us, when we study or read about malnutrition, we think that it is only in the rural segments or it is in the community, but you would be surprised to see the number of cases or the number of kinds of cases we handle every day, whether it's overnutrition, whether it's micronutrient deficiency, hidden hunger. There is so much scope for us to do our work to make a difference. So even the mothers who come from, well-to-do families who have access to healthy food are still having some sort of deficiency in their pregnancy journeys. So me and my team at Cloudnine, we try to make a difference in every pregnancy journey. We have sort of made that a mandatory consult with the after the doctor meets them, we tell them to refer to the nutritionists to, guide them more about how this journey can be influenced. So that is how the work now is going on. And so I work out of one of the units, even though I had the... Yes. Okay, so coming back to what I was saying, so even though I head the department, I have about 24 nutritionists under me spread across the country. I still work out of a parent unit, parent hospital, so that I don't lose touch with my clinical practice. Where it can be very easy to move into the admin role and just do the trainings and interviews and all of that. But I think it is very important for me to stay connected with patients, stay connected with doctors, to know the changing landscape, to continuously make a difference, because that is what drives me. Everything else that came is with over the years of hard work, but I can't lose focus on what I do at ground. And that is what probably is the best part of the day when you go to sleep. Like, have you made a difference today in someone's life? Have you guided someone to eat better? Have you, informed parents the child's diet can be better? Have you spoken to a mother to be how her offspring is going to turn out if we make these changes in her diet? So I think every single day what drives us to the hospital or makes me wake up and go is the fact that, okay, I really want to make a difference in someone's life. So I was talking to some of my friends from other industries, and they were asking me, like, how do you work like 6 days a week? You don't get off Saturday and a Sunday, and so many years continuously you've not taken a sabbatical. But I think at the end of the day, because you're making a difference in someone's life and you are touching someone's life, it is easy to keep that motivation going over a period of time. So to all the students here, irrespective of the branch that you have opted for, all of us have that common binding factor. Two things: one is touching lives, the second thing is food connects all these three courses orientation which we are having today. So food is art for some, food is celebration for some of you, food is healing, food is comfort. I think that is a common binding factor we all have today, and the nutrition is the foundation of all of that for us to keep driving ourselves, for us to show up and be at the workspace. So I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that are important when you are studying and when you come into the real world as well. So the first and foremost thing for all the batches I just want to focus is you really need to be passionate about what you're doing. See, it can take a little while to figure out, is this what I really want to do, or is there something else that I'm going to figure out in a couple of months? But until then, give it your 100%. Put your 100% into the learning, into the projects you're assigned, into the group, focus groups that you're put into, and dedication. Because putting anything, half-hearted efforts into anything is not going to serve the purpose. Neither is the outcome going to be good, nor are you going to feel good about yourself. So where you are right now, put in your 100% dedication, whether it's to study, whether it's for your internships, whether it's to do projects, whether it's thesis, and then you will find your calling through that work, because this is where I'm at and I'm focusing at it. So the more you keep doing, you will understand, do I want to dive deeper into it, or I want to, look out for an alternate branch which catches more interest. So these two are really, really important areas of focus while you're studying and when you work. Some of the challenges that you may come across when you start working, or even when you're studying, motivation. Sometimes I think all of us will have certain points where it could dip for some days, but it is important to keep talking to ourselves, why are we doing this? Why are we here? What's the larger picture? As ma'am said, you have to look at the larger picture. Why have I chosen this course? What is it that I want to do in the future with this learning? So motivation can dip naturally for all human beings, but we need to pick that up based on our interactions with our peers or mentors or lecturers. So that's another important factor. The other thing is now, even in the hospital scenario. See, here at college, we get a lot of avenues to be innovative. So whether it's with respect to the annual day stall picture that I showed you, or it's the projects that you do, or the thesis plan that you come up with, there is innovation involved. But even when you start working, undoubtedly in everybody's key result areas or your job description, innovation or creating something new is going to be a big part of it, because nobody wants you to keep doing what's already been done. Of course, that will happen. But what are you doing differently? What are you doing? Even a smallest change. Like, I'll give you a very tiny example. So in hospitals, now it's very different. Earlier, you would just go for your checkups and come back. But now if you walk into any corporate hospitals, you would see a lot of awareness activities, liver cirrhosis awareness, or World High Blood Pressure Day, or Diabetes Day activities, or you can even, focus on, like now, National Nutrition Month, September, the entire month is National Nutrition Month, and there's so much you can do on the creative front in hospitals while you are at the job. So please keep your minds open. Don't, think that I just have to see my IP, OPD and log out 9 to 5 and go. No, you will have to really keep creating a lot of awareness activities when you're in the, ground. The next thing is about rapport. Rapport matters when you are studying and working as well. So of course, when you are studying, healthy competition is good, healthy discussions are good, but the rapport should translate when you join a workplace. You should have very, very, very good interdepartmental rapport with doctors, nurses, your admin staff, because at the end of the day, all the departments in a hospital are working together to deliver patient care. So they have to be well coordinated. So it is really important that, when you all start working if you take up the clinical line, you focus on having a very good rapport with all the other departments. The other thing is teamwork. I think that is essential throughout. We have taught this from a very young age, probably from school itself, how to work in a group of 4 or in a team of 4. The same thing continues when you get into the career. So a lot of people I work with, sometimes they come into the workforce with the thing that, like Ma'am said, I know everything, or, I can figure it out on my own. No, all of us need teams to give our best results, and we need to really focus on teamwork to give the best output. So even if you are in a hospital, you're taking care of a patient, you can't take care of that patient alone. However good your clinical knowledge is, or however thorough you're with the case, you need to still interact with the nurse. You need to still interact with the hospital F&B team to ensure that the food served is right on time as per the dietary guidelines. So teamwork is very, very important when you, in your internship and working days. So that's just some of the challenge areas that I see once we start working, but we learn it over a period of time. The other thing which is really important, so all the courses here, the students who are here for orientation, so it's a very demanding industry, whether it's hospitality or healthcare. It's a very demanding industry. We have to be at our best and put up our best selves out there. So it becomes very important to manage ourselves when we are in this industry, to take care of our own health, to take care of our own sleep routines, exercise. It is really important. So I urge all the students that whether you are going through the course, or when you are doing the internship, or when you are working, please take care of yourselves. Then only you can give your 100% out there. Okay. The other thing is work-life balance. So as we say, it's important, to totally understand the depth of the subject and deep dive into it. But at the same time, we need to have other healthy hobbies as well, probably like reading, or you are into dancing, sports, music, painting. It can be anything, because that opens up your brain in ways which helps you absorb the core thing that you are doing. So please inculcate one hobby through these 2 years that you're here, and spend a little time on that as well. Sleep is really important. I think these two industries, we really, some of us are sleep deprived because of the shifts we work in or the long hours that are there. But I would urge everybody to try and get at least 6 to 7 hours of minimum. 7 to 8 is ideal. That is a recommendation in a medical world, but 6 to 7 hours at least. Okay. The other thing is now, what are the on-the-job skill sets that you might require. So healthcare industry, as I said, is very demanding. One thing you need to remember is you have to be updated. So we can finish our BSc Nutrition, we can do our MSc, we can probably do an MPhil, but the learning is not going to stop there because there's new research in the field of nutrition every single day. So 1 month coconut is good for you, next month it's not. Eggs are very bad for 10 years, now it's really good for you. So there's an evolving science that's happening, and that's where we are in. So we need to read a lot of journals, we need to be part of conferences, and to our good luck, we are at a time or a point in our lives where there's so much exposure online. So for all the MSc done students, you have so many free courses on nutrition certified by Abbott and Nestle and IGNU online that you can take up, which you can do. They're all very short, informative courses, 1 hour, and then you get a certificate. I know some of you are particular that there should be a certificate, but there's a lot of learning. The content is very good. So in your free time, once you have taken out time for relaxation, hobbies, please do these additional courses as well. It will really help you. And even when you are working, take out time. So what I do for my team is I pick 2 courses every month, and then I assign it to them, and they have to send me the completion certificate at the end of the month so that I know they did this course, and I know they are updated in the area that we are dealing with. Okay. The other thing is dress codes and soft skills. So it's very different in the healthcare industry because you are dealing with people who are not very well. They are not at their best health. So they also might not be at feeling their best. So you are going to be dealing with very difficult people who, all of us are difficult when we are not well. None of us are too pleasant when we are ill. So I think it's important that we are pleasantly dressed when we are at work at the hospital. Of course, many hospitals have dress codes. They have your white apron and they give you scrub suits. So that's fine. But if you are working in a hospital which allows you to wear what you would like, I think it's important to dress up modest and pleasant because you are dealing with people who are not well. So it might not be too wise to wear like neon color, nail color when you go for patient rounds, or it might not look very professional. So that's just a small word of advice when you go out for internships as well. And about the soft skills, I think there's a lot. I mean, I'm sure Didhiti has taken a lovely session yesterday about skills you need to have, but one of the most important things that I think I should say after working 14 years in the industry is empathy, because when we are dealing with patients and caregivers and caretakers, empathy is one common thing that drives us. And this, I think, holds true across industries, because when you're dealing with a customer experience or a patient experience, or you're dealing with someone who's come to you with a certain expectation, you have to be empathetic. You cannot have this feeling that, okay, we are charging for this service, so no, we have to be really empathetic. So I'll give you a simple scenario. So in hospitals, I think one of the biggest challenges we have is two challenges. One is non-compliance to the therapeutic diet. So if a patient is got a lot of restrictions, salt restrictions, protein restrictions, we have to serve them the food like that so that they heal better. But then you see a compliance issue. Now you have to be really patient, spend more time, explain to them why we are doing this and why it would help them. But if they still want to vent out, you have to take it. You have to listen to it because they are not well, and it is going to take a little while for them to understand how it is going to heal them. The second challenge we see is, so as we all know, the food that you eat at a hospital is very different from what you would eat at a restaurant or a buffet. So usually there's this perception that hospital food is boring, bland. So I think what the corporate hospitals are trying to do now is to change that perception for patients. So something as simple as, giving the simple khichdi in a presentable form or in the kind of cutlery, crockery you're trying to serve it in makes a lot of difference for someone who is not well. So whereas you can send a tiffin carrier to that room and say, here, this is what you get, think of it a little differently. What if I give this patient 2 types of khichdi to select, or 3 kinds of soft diet options. You're giving them the freedom of choice. You are telling them that I am not dictating for you that you should eat only this. At the same time, there's a sense of comfort that I can choose even though I'm not well. So I think these are small things that we can do to make it better for them. So the challenge that I was talking about is when they make an issue when the food is served. Suppose the food service is delayed or the food has come a little cold. Then you need to have a very good rapport with your F&B staff, the service team at the hospital, and you have to go and talk to them together to solve this issue. We can't pass the blame game. We can't say, no, we just wrote the diet in the file and our job here is done. No, you have to work as a very integral team to solve these issues at ground, okay? So that's about the little soft skills that we require. And I think I already spoke about upskilling. So I did tell you about how important it is to keep updated with the latest research, because when you talk to doctors, doctors are one of our biggest challenges when we join hospitals, because nutrition in India has probably picked up in the past 1 or 2 decades more to this seriousness. Before that, they didn't really even have dietitians in hospitals. It was more of the nurse will tell us what to do or the doctor will say what to do. But we need to understand that what they learn in their curriculum is just probably a chapter. But we go totally into it, deep diving. We know the anatomy, the physiology, the biochemistry, how something works, how something will not work irrespective of what the doctor says. So how can you be confident while dealing with doctors? Only if your knowledge is up to date, only if you're reading the latest research, only if you're confident enough to say, doctor, I looked at this and the evidence is clear for us to do this or to try this. So it is really important to have, of course, we have to be humble and confident at the same time while dealing with consultants, because it's a big challenge we'll all face. So even though I have a team under me and they all, most of the times I get a call or a message from them is talking about the challenges they face with the doctors at the hospital. So you have to be really well read to tackle that, okay? And of course, coming to career opportunities, though I am a clinical person in the field of nutrition, we have a lot of avenues in nutrition. You have research and development, you can get into teaching, you can get into sports nutrition, you can get into, nutrigenetics. There is a lot that is happening. You have startups which focus only on PCOS, only on diabetes. So, I mean, the avenues are huge. It's just that you need to find your calling. You need to know, is this what I really want to do? Because I know a lot of my friends or, previous classmates who have ventured into and doing really well. So some of them have got into R&D, some of them have got into sports, some of them are teaching. So you need to know in nutrition, where do I head? And community nutrition is huge. Public health nutrition in India has a very, very huge scope. So you can also explore that as well once you know where your heart lies, okay? And yes, the other thing is many of the students or interns that I've worked with before also have their own startups. So they start their own little diet consult clinics online, or they sort of have a little setup with a doctor, or they, combine with a physiotherapist and start a clinic. There's a lot you can do, because health is becoming a problem in the times that we live in, and there's never not going to be focus on nutrition, because medicine can do so much, but medicine can only do that much. If the patient or the person is not well nourished, those medicines are also going to struggle to work. So the foundation has to be really good. Okay, with that, I'm just going to close my presentation with a few quotes, okay? So the first thing is, when you have a passion for something, then you tend to not only be better at it, but you work harder at it too. So that's important. If you like doing something, you will get better at it, and that's one thing. The other thing is, you have to move out of your comfort zone when you start working. You can't have everything on a platter. It's not going to be very easy. You have to work through all the challenges. So you can grow only if you're willing to feel a little awkward, scared, fearful and uncomfortable when you try something new. So when I talk about this, I give a very small example that I did in my career. So when I joined Cloudnine Group of Hospitals, I mean, we had the chairman who was a neonatologist and pediatrician. I mean, he's pioneer in the field and he knows everything about it, but I still felt like the brand doesn't really focus on complementary feeding or starting solids for babies. And then I gathered all my courage and made like this project, and I went up to him and I said, so like, I think we should start a starting solids initiative at Cloudnine. We should have a complementary feeding course for parents, because all our nuclear families now, the support from joint families, excuse me, is not really there. So sorry. So, and then I went and I didn't know if it would work or not, but to hear it from the chairman himself was like, yes, even if you have one parent coming for this workshop, get it started. Let's see. And then it really grew. And now, initially it was workshops for parents, starting solids for their babies. And now it's an online course, a self-learning course the parents can take up from the comfort of their homes. This is just a tiny example that you will feel awkward. Is my idea okay? Should I be really doing this? Should I try this? But you should give it a chance. You should give it a thought, because if you're doing something, why? To make a difference somewhere. It is of not purely personal gain, right? You're trying to make a difference. So put the ideas out there and the right people will support you, okay? And the last one that I have to say is, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. You have to do your good job consistently. You have to be consistent. So over these many years, the only thing that's helped me is that be consistent in how I show up for the patient. So even now, even if the management or the admin side may not appreciate too much because they're all busy with the revenues and stuff, the doctors or the patients who go back and tell the doctors that this worked is, I think, what keeps us going. So be very consistent in knowing what your focus areas is. So I remember the other day, one of my teammates messaged me and said, ma'am, my business head is leaving, I'm feeling demotivated. I said, you are here for the patients. You are here to take care of the patients. Focus on that, and then everything will fall into place. So that's it. That's all I want to tell all of you. And signing off with my Pan-India team. These are my nutritionists at Cloudnine Group of Hospitals. I have almost 3 alumni from WGSHA here in this picture. So it's really nice when I do interviews, and I can say it here that I am a little biased when I see the CV and I say MSc Dan, I sort of shortlist them for sure, okay? Because I know that their knowledge and skill set and how they're going to handle customers is going to be so good. So all the best to all of you who are here today, and thank you so much for listening to me. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. We deeply value your thoughtful and motivating words. Thank you for sharing with us your incredible journey. It has added a special significance to our aspiring students. As we move forward, carrying a beacon of knowledge ignited by our speakers, I would like to welcome our alumna from BHM 25th course, Ms. Didhiti Chopra, Learning and Development Specialist, Hyatt, Regency, Pune. She started her journey as management trainee, operations in the Indian Hotel Company Limited, Jai Mahal Palace, Jaipur, and was soon promoted to being a restaurant manager and F&B trainer, learning and development manager, and human resources management manager for a duration of 8 years. She was instrumental in redesigning the front office vocational training module for the organization and devising strategies to create positive guest experiences that are instrumental in enhancing the Net Promoter Score. As we embark on this educational journey, I call upon Ms. Didhiti Chopra to step forward and share her valuable advice to our students.
Good morning, dear parents, students, and my beloved faculty. Thank you so much for welcoming me back to WGSHA. It's a great honor to be welcomed to your institution that has taught you so much and developed you as a personality. When I joined hotel management in 2010, my affinity towards hospitality was, I could say it was just an affinity, a slight inclination. However, over the 4 years that I was in WGSHA, it completely changed my mind and heart towards hospitality. I have become a true hotelier, and I truly live by it, that people are the core of our business. And that's what WGSHA taught us right from day one. We had a 10-day orientation program, and in those 10 days, students, teachers, and the parents made sure that we are at home. For 4 years, I've just been calling this my home, and I still will be calling this my home, because it has taught me each and everything that my parents have also taught me. But it has shaped me as a professional. When I graduated in 2014, I was still very feared, thinking what will the industry be? Because when I went out for my industrial training, that's when I got an opportunity to see how the industry actually functions. And to be surprised that many people told me, what you learn in college versus what you see in practical is very different. When I went to the industry in my 3rd year, I was surprised that that's not true. What I learned in WGSHA was actually being practiced in the hotel. So WGSHA makes sure that you are at par with the industry. Each and every faculty researches so well till the deep down that you are so well learned about what the industry is. When I moved in 2014, I was a management trainee, was training under all the departments. Everybody used to ask me, what is your specialization, what is your interest? And I used to say, I like all departments, I'm okay to do my specialization in all the departments. And it was not just for the sake of it, but then actually all the departments that I have learned over here have shaped me as a hotelier, that I am ready to work in any other department, be it front office, housekeeping, F&B, or even kitchen. And that's how that shaped my career in the industry. I started off as a restaurant manager in food and beverage. I still have my heart in housekeeping and front office, so I used to keep going to the front office, learning about the new trends about the industry, sharing my insight with people in different departments, and learning myself. Over the years, I got an opportunity to move into learning and development, something that I had never thought of. Human resources was something that I had never thought that I would move, because I was core operations. I want to get into operations. WGSHA for 4 years had changed my perception. When I got an opportunity to move into HR, I took that because it was at a very nascent stage. Yesterday, I was sharing with the ladies in the session that there was, yesterday I was in food and beverage, and today I had to handle learning and development. And from day one, everybody had expectations from me. Everybody used to say, oh, you're from WGSHA, you should be knowing things. Your technicals should be strong. And that's what helped me. Strong academic background and attitude to take up challenge as an opportunity is what WGSHA taught me here. So my father used to keep telling me that, if you see a challenge as a weakness, it will only pull you down. But if you see a challenge as an opportunity to bring a solution to the table, it will be very easy for you. And I used to think, okay, it's just easier said than done, but that's not true. When you think of a challenge as an opportunity, you can take a step ahead to make things work in your way. It does come out in your favor. So my advice would be that whenever you see something as a challenge, try to have a positive thought towards it and see it as an opportunity. Max to max, what will happen, you will either succeed or have an experience, right? Today I want to share that we in the industry, I'm sure my colleagues can also echo the same thought with me, that we are a people industry, and it's not a very difficult industry to work with. All you have to do is listen, what Meenakshi ma'am also said. Listen, care for people, be emphatic, and think of a person as a person, be humble. That's all. It wasn't very difficult for me when I stepped into the industry, to be honest, because that's what we had learned over the past 4 years here. Be it academics, be it your extracurricular activities, be it your leadership skills as well. Chef said that I was a class rep, vice president. I think that was the stage wherein all my faculty started putting in the leadership skills very silently into me. That has been instrumental in making me so confident to come up and talk here. Day before yesterday when I had landed, I was talking to Rahul sir, and I was myself amazed that I have become so chatty. I was not a very chatty student. But over the past 4 years, when I studied here in WGSHA, those 4 years completely changed my personality. I started understanding the industry better, and it was not just my effort. It was the people around me, the faculty who helped me, my peers as well. You learn from each and every person around you. What you want to take back is completely up to you. You will see good things, not so good things, but then you are an adult, you will know what you need to take back, right? WGSHA can provide you the best of knowledge. It does. Make you efficient and to acquire the right skill. But if you don't have the attitude to learn, then all of it goes for a waste. You have the best infrastructure here. I mean, every now and then when I keep seeing the progress on Instagram or Facebook or on LinkedIn, I feel so proud that the institute is doing so well. And that's only for you guys, only for us in fact. All of us have benefited from it. So make the most of it. Attitude is something that takes you to longer paths, to different career paths as well. In the industry, when we treat people as people, it is no longer a task. It becomes a nature. And when that becomes a nature, you develop a culture around you. And that's what I do. I am a learning manager. I do train people for their tasks, for their skills, but I also try to create that culture around everybody, that everybody focuses on their knowledge, skill, and attitude. Training and learning is very, very different. What ma'am also said, training and education. We are here in the same business. So when you step out into the industry, if you take every task as a learning and not training, you will develop on yourself. You will learn from guests, you will learn from your colleagues, you will learn from your managers, you will learn from people under you as well. Make the most of it. It may sound easier said than done, but then over the past 9 years, that's what I've been doing, and every day has been a new day. Not every day has been the best, and not every day has been the worst. But that should not stop you from going ahead. Now you're in the time wherein you are pursuing your masters. Now is the time when you research, when you get to know how the economy impacts the industry, be it nutrition, be it MHM, or be it masters in the Indian cuisine. Get to know how the country is working around these things. And the best example is millets. Everybody is talking about millets. How much is your awareness about millets? How aware you are to contribute towards that cause? That makes a lot of difference. These 2 years will fly, trust me. When 4 years can fly, these 2 years will definitely fly, because my previous manager used to tell me that, Didhiti, days are longer, but years are shorter. And that's when you look back, you realize, oh God, it's been just 4 years and they flew by. So make the most of these 2 years that you're here. And of course, WGSHA will stay connected with you even after the 2 years. We all are live examples here, right? WGSHA does make an impact for you to get connected to your seniors, to your faculty. I'm sure when I met my seniors from the 20th and 19th and 18th course, I don't feel any inhibition. I feel, okay, we're all one. And that's what WGSHA makes you do, and that's what you should make the most of. Network with people, connect with peers. Connect with faculty, stay connected. That's what this industry, that's what this entire world is about, right? So I'll not take much time, but then this is for students and for parents. WGSHA doesn't just touch your child's life, but it also stays connected to you. Today, a lot of faculty have asked me about my family, and I'm surprised to know how deeply they remember them, even after graduating after 9 years. So that's the power of touching people's lives. That's the emotional connect that is made. What Abhilasha also said, empathy, right? Being sympathetic towards somebody is very easy, but being emphatic towards somebody is a task. You need to think of what they are thinking. You need to understand from their perspective. And that goes out to all of us. If we try to be emphatic, if we try to just care about people as people, it becomes very easy for us. And I truly believe that I have evolved as a person from a training manager to a learning manager, because that's all we need to do. We don't need to get ourselves trained. We need to first learn. Training will automatically come. So I thank the Institute for developing me as a hotelier, changing my perspective. I did think of leaving the industry, I'd be very honest with you. But then I thought to myself that, I truly love. And when you truly love something, you pay attention to the detail, you're passionate about it, and you're consistent. That's all you need to do. So all the best for your next 2 years. This is just the beginning, and keep researching, keep reading, keep knowing about people in the industry who are growing. We have Chef Girish here. We talk about Chef Girish. I'm sure when we were students, Chef Girish had come to give us a talk about the industry. We were so enamored that, okay, an alumni is coming and talking to us, and the industry is something that we all look forward to. That's what you need to do. Become a role model for yourself and for the others. So with this, thank you, Chef. Thank you for inviting, and thank you, everybody, for patiently listening. You all have made the right choice, if I can say, and WGSHA's infrastructure, be it the tangible or intangible aspects, it is class apart from everybody else across the globe, I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your inspiring message to the young minds, which perfectly resonates with the essence of today's event. As we open to new insights, may our spirits be lifted and our actions be guided by the intentions we have set forth. Let us now welcome our alumna from first course BACA, BA Culinary Arts, Ms. Elizabeth Yorke, chef and founder, Saving Grains, Bangalore. Food waste is an unseen problem all around us. Over a third of the food produced goes to waste every year. But Ms. Elizabeth Yorke and her initiative, Saving Grains, have found a way to make a difference by upcycling spent brewery grains into bakery goods in Bangalore. She is a chef turned food researcher and an advocate for sustainable food systems. She is the co-founder of Edible Issues, a collective that is fostering thoughts and conversations on the Indian food system. May I now cordially invite Ms. Elizabeth Yorke to share her experience and thoughtful insights to our eager audience.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm Elizabeth. I graduated in 2014 as the first course of BA Culinary Arts. It was really exciting. There were 20 of us. We explored food not just from a kitchen perspective, but spaces like food anthropology and sociology. We did culinary math. We looked at architecture of kitchens. We looked at food science as well. And it was just a really exciting landscape into food that I never knew existed. The last 9 years have been really food-filled with stints in kitchens. So after I graduated, I worked as a hotel operations management trainee with Taj. I moved on to then work in smaller restaurant kitchens. But I always tried to keep curious and keep exploring new spaces across the food system. I got an opportunity as a grantee to go to the MAD Symposium in Copenhagen, the Oxford Symposium on Food and Cookery, did a couple of stints in Mexico City and cooked there, and as well finally moved out of the kitchen in 2018 and worked as a research fellow at the Future Food Institute in Italy, where we looked at circular and sustainable food systems. Through this research project, got to travel to about 12 cities across the globe, meet over 160 people working in the food space, from intergovernmental organizations to individuals working in food and sustainability. So these experiences have been incredible, but all of this started from curiosity, and this curiosity basically started here at WGSHA. And it started with idlis. So the food nerd in me decided to do my final year BA culinary thesis on idlis. And my question was, what makes a good idli? More from a scientific standpoint. But that one question ended up me asking 100 more questions. Where did the idli rice come from? Was there such a thing as terroir for idli rice? Because my batter kept changing even though I would buy the rice from the same store. What did the PDS system have to do with idlis being so cheap, right? What was urad dal varieties at that time? Pulses, we were importing pulses from Canada. Why was that when India was the largest producer? We're looking at things like fermentation and nutrition. How did those change perspectives? Did the idli really come from Indonesia, or was it just a culinary technique that came in through trade? And I think that curiosity, and that's what sparked a lot of interest in looking at food from a systems perspective, and looking at how, as a cook, kind of reflecting on what was my value then in the food system space. How did I contribute to larger conversations about food, or what was my role in putting food out there for people to enjoy or people to explore? So today I currently run Edible Issues, which is a collective that is fostering thought and conversation on the Indian food system. We work with researchers, scientists, chefs, restaurants to put out publications of food experiences that kind of provoke people to think about food in unique ways. And I also run Saving Grains, which the name, as cheesy as it is Saving Grains. We rescue brewers' spent grain from microbreweries, and we currently operate out of Bangalore, which is amazing because we have so many microbreweries there. So I spend a lot of my days in breweries now, but not complaining because we get a delicious byproduct, which is high in fiber and protein. Because in the beer brewing process, you soak grains like barley and wheat in water, and the carbohydrates come out, and that's what makes the beer. And you're left with like this delicious spent grain malty mash that we use and we repurpose, and we make things like chapatis, laddus, biscuits, granola, and it's just the start. I mean, the scope to innovate on upcycled products is tremendous, and I won't go into detail there because then I won't stop. I think that Chef Thiru asked me today to share a little bit on culinary landscapes at the intersection of food and culture. What have I been seeing in the last couple of years? Things that maybe I've been curious about. And I started thinking, as usual, the food nerd in me started thinking about questions that I could maybe pose to you as when you start this journey, things that you could think about as you progress over these next 2 years. So one is, like I was saying earlier, as a cook, what value do I bring? Or as somebody working within the food space or at the intersection of food, hospitality, and delivering food experiences, what value do we bring to the table? How do we go beyond, or how do we dig beyond what we see on Instagram? We see a lot of new research that people present on food, or a lot of new ideas or concepts. But again, like Meenakshi ma'am was saying earlier, like what is the research-based facts, right? How do we really know what is true, what is not, and how deep, how much can we understand about the context of that information? Asking questions like, my roots are wide, but are they deep? Have I really understood what is food and what's around me? How are people consuming my food? Whether it's through different kinds of tangible or non-tangible experiences, and how do I just keep up with so many things happening in food right now? So here are a few anecdotes that I've kind of picked out that puts food at the center of a lot of these narratives and some of the things that we're seeing in the current culinary landscape. How many of you have, in the last 24 hours, either had a cup of coffee or cooked or eaten with tomatoes, rice, or lentils? Yeah, so it's pretty much all of us. We just had coffee on our coffee break. But I think that these small individual ingredients or these single produce tells these large stories, right? Look at coffee. Scientists predict in the next couple of years we might not even be able to have coffee as it is in the way we're actually having coffee because of climate change, right? We'll probably have synthetic versions, or we might just go back to chicory. Who knows? The tomatoes, because of the price rise, even large global conglomerates like McDonald's and Burger King actually took it off the menu. We're looking at rice. Currently, we saw articles and reels of Indian stores in the US where people were hoarding rice because they were scared that, India would ban exports. And lentils, the kind of inflation and food prices that we're dealing with. So a lot of these small, daily, single ingredients tell larger global stories and narratives that do influence and affect how we go about building our culinary stories and how we go about creating dishes, or how we go about talking about the food system. And as cooks, chefs, and creators of these experiences, we are at the center of presenting these ideas and conversations on a plate. Something really exciting that I've seen in the last couple of years has been the broadening of food narratives. No longer is Indian food is obviously not a thing, right? There's no such thing as Indian cuisine. But we're also seeing smaller narratives of different regions and micro-cuisines come to the plate, not just in the form of serving food or research, but in the forms of stories and articles that then can be converted into ideas and thoughts. So this is from a new favorite publication called Entu Cutlet. It's a really lovely story from Vinay, who is a caste writer. He talks about during Diwali, his family was banned from making kajaya. So they created a new tradition in their family to kind of mimic that tradition that was passed down. And so now currently that's what they do. And it's a really lovely story and piece, but tells a completely different perspective from everyone else's Diwali traditions. Something that I really enjoyed being here at Manipal was that you have people from so many different cultures coming together and communities. Your neighbor, you can learn so much from them. I think we were a batch of 20 and we had almost representation from maybe 60% of the states in the country. So there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to absorb, there's a lot to listen. So just keep asking questions and learn. We're also seeing some very interesting forms of design and documentation. The picture on your left is from Priya Mani's publication called Cookalore on Instagram, where she's building an encyclopedia of Indian food, which is very different from K.T. Achaya's encyclopedia. And it gives a lot of deeper stories and understanding and meaning to different conversations around food. And also it looks spectacular and beautiful. When sometimes people think of Indian food, they think of a brown curry in a bowl. But here are new interpretations and new design and interventions of how we see and consume food that's not in an actual tangible form of eating. We also see projects like the Buchi project by Tansha Vora, who looked at eating insects in India. And she documented it through recipes, but also kind of explored the narrative within different communities of what does it really mean to bring the insect narrative into urban spaces. There's so much food research everywhere, from scientific research to culture research, and I think it's just an amazing space to be able to explore and dive into. Examples like the Serendipity Arts Foundation has a food lab. That it's a residency program, but also they have a festival every year that you can immerse yourself in food and culture. I volunteered at Serendipity Arts Festival in 2017, and it was an amazing experience. You have spaces where you can learn about foraging greens. Ellen MacArthur Foundation is a circular economy foundation that does work on redesigning food systems and talking about food systems and circularity. We also have from places in Bangalore, for example, like the Indian Institute of Human Settlements that has a library of very rare books on food. So there's a lot of research in spaces that you would not normally think would be food-centered. But food is a horizontal. Everywhere you go, there is a conversation about food. There's a larger narrative to explore. And the last part that's very interesting for me is, I think, just the general cycle, endless cycle of tradition and innovation. I think that every tradition at one point would have been an innovation, and it's become a tradition because it's something familiar that we've kind of picked up on. When we were doing this program, we were told that in Germany there was a new innovation that had come up. That was a company that was making the most sustainable eatware, which was leaf plates. We were shocked. We were like, leaf plates, that's something that's been around forever. That's not new. But for a lot of other people, the idea of our traditions are innovations, and there's a lot of space for us to package it or have those conversations more loudly. For us, it may seem like an everyday normal, but to a lot of other people and even our peers, it may seem new. So don't feel scared to share ideas, share what your traditions and share what your customs are, because you never know who it might inspire or who might inspire you to build on that. So what does the culinary landscape look like? And I think it looks like all of y'all who are shaping different narratives, who will build different stories. As long as you keep your minds open to change ideas, perspectives, and be curious on everything and anything. I think asking questions, having those conversations, I think that's what really, for me, has been so beneficial over the last couple of years. So the food nerd in me can't leave without leaving you with some resources. Here's a book list that we put up last year as part of the Serendipity Arts Foundation. I can share this with you all later also. But it has a whole bunch of books that I think most of them are already in your library, our library, because I remember seeing a lot of them there when we were there. And the idea is that immerse yourself in this space, being in this atmosphere, being in a space like Manipal and WGSHA is a rare one, filled with, inspired by life is the motto, which I think is so true. And good luck. If you ever need anything in food and conversation and the work we do, please do reach out. I'm happy to share more information and anything else you might need. Good luck and thank you.
We appreciate your delightful message, madam. Our sincere thanks for your thoughtful address. Your words have left an indelible mark on our students' hearts, and I'm sure that it has ignited the entrepreneurial acumen and research avenues in the field of culinary arts. With great enthusiasm, let us welcome our alumnus from 18th course BHM, Chef Girish Nayak. He is currently working as a pastry chef at Bombay Sweet Shop, Mumbai. He received his associate's degree in baking and pastry arts from the Culinary Institute of America. He served as a pastry assistant at Gotham Bar and Grill, New York City, as a bread baker at Amy Bread Bakery, New York City, and as a pastry chef at Olive Beach. He has received the Young Achiever Award in Hospitality by the Forbes 30 Under 30 category. I cordially invite Chef Girish Nayak to address our students.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you, Chef Thiru, for inviting me to give a talk to all of you. I'm super happy always to come to WGSHA. Manipal is my town. I grew up here in KMC. And my parents are doctors at the hospital here. So, this is where it all started, WGSHA, the old building. Like all of most parents who are here, my parents were extremely worried what I would be doing and why I'm joining hotel management, because none of my family members are chefs. I had never seen a five-star hotel in my life before joining here. My dad, in fact, asked me what does F&B stand for, and I didn't know what it stood for also. But I was wanting to do hotel management. So my parents did come to the college before I did to talk to every faculty members here. And, I think they were like very afraid. But thankfully, the faculty of WGSHA guaranteed my parents that, don't worry, we will take care of your kid. And I'm so happy that they said that. Otherwise, I would have been doing MBBS or I just maybe something else. But this is where I started to think about it. 20 years ago, in the month of June, I had actually come here. I was sitting somewhere here, and I joined here. So after graduation, 4 years, I worked at the Valley View Bakery. That's how the bakery looked. We were 4 of us who was working under Chef Narayana, who taught me a lot, very basic bread baking, very fun, learned me how to scale product. It was really good. And the other place that I worked early in the morning also was this Kama sweet shop in Udupi, that is behind the service bus stop. My mom actually sent me here. She said, you need to learn something of your own, so why don't you learn how to make at least Konkani-based sweets, because I'm a Konkani guy. And she sent me here, and I was like, okay, cool. So this was the smallest time my mom was happy, because she said, okay, at least he's doing something that I know what he's up to, to be honest. Until now, they were all confused, what is this guy doing in hotel management? So I used to work here in the morning. I used to finish, and then I would come and work in Valley View Bakery. I did this for about 8 months to a year, which then made me want to take up pastry to learn more, because this was early 2000, so that not many pastry chefs, there were not many pastry shops like there are right now. So I wanted to go pursue much more. So I went to the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. A lot of people did ask me out here how difficult was it, because for 21 years I never left Manipal, and it's such a small town. I never been to a city besides for 6 months during my internship in Bombay. A lot of people actually asked me how difficult was your life in New York. To be honest, it was very easy, because one thing that I learned from WGSHA, to be very honest, is discipline. And this is something that has, because of this discipline, is where I am today, to be honest. Because it's only discipline based on how at perfect time you come to work, you show up every day on time, you do the duties that is needed, you groom a certain way, your attitude, everything was extremely groomed by the university and the college, which I am still very happy that they did, because without that, I don't think I would be here at this point of my life. During my time in New York, I did get to work at a couple of really good pastry kitchens. That is at Jean George, Gotham Bar and Grill, Amy's Bread Bakery, which was really good, and I learned a lot. I did come back to India because I think India is where everything is happening at this point of time. It's not the States, it's not Europe, it's nothing, but everything is happening in India at this point of time. It always was happening in India, we just failed to see it. But going to the US made me realize that how important coming back to India is, and this is where I need to learn and develop my skills. So I joined as the pastry chef at Olive Beach in Bangalore. And you can see some of the pastries that we made. This was in early 2009, 2010, where macaroons, cockroach were all not there in the pastry scene in India. So, I got a chance to be a pioneer in doing this. A couple of years later, we opened Toast and Tonic, wherein we were plating desserts that was based on Indian sweets and Indian culture and stuff. Two things I learned during my time at Toast and Tonic and everything else was Why aren't anyone doing anything with Indian sweets as mithai? Because at this point of time, there was really good restaurants like Bombay Canteen, Indian Accent, Gagananand, doing really good Indian food in the savory side. They were really recreating, reimagining all of it. But no one was doing anything with mithais at this point of time. And I started to wonder, why is that first one? And the second thing was, a big thing which I learned by myself was, I know everything about Western sweets, but I don't know anything about our own sweets. I don't know how a Kaju Katli is being made. I don't know what a Motichur Laddu is. How beautiful is that process? You know, I never realized any of it. It was really embarrassing, but thankfully, I was just like, this is the time I should quit my industry, give up the job that I'm good at, and restart my entire career right now. You know, and I was very lucky to get to do this. So I quit my job in 2017, and then I joined the Mithaiwalas. I thought this is the way I should go in my life. I tried to dress like them, but that didn't work. They said kapda pehno. They didn't like what they saw, I guess. But yeah. So my first stop was Kolkata. If you can see the pictures, I'm one of the reasons why we need dietitians and nutritionists also in this world, because it's all filled with ghee and nice things. So I spent time with the Son Papriwalas and with the Chena makers in Kolkata for 2 weeks. This is a small stint with that, just to realize how it is. This made me realize how beautiful and how amazing Indian sweets are, and how difficult it is. It is more difficult than any Western sweets, and it felt earlier to me to forget this, you know. And I'm very lucky these people allowed. And a lot of people ask me, how did these people let you in? Because, you know, to be honest, they were really surprised someone from a city wants to come and learn to make their own sweets. And because their kids themselves or anyone from the neighborhood don't want to do mithai work anymore, because how difficult it is, and how less paying job it is, and how your status in your thing is very less, and people don't want to perceive that, you know. And we ourselves, when we want to be Mithaiwala, at least when I started, when someone told me I want to be Mithaiwala, and I was just like, no, I don't want to be. I want to learn how to make croissants and stuff, because that looked much more fancy. But I'm very lucky that I got a chance to go back. So this was where, in Kolkata. The next stop was in Jaipur. That's Ramlal, who was with his shop in Sri Madhapur. It's a small town in Jaipur where he's known to make feeni. So they only make this feeni from December, January, and February. It's a great process wherein actually you make a dough worth from 100 kilos of flour, and you put like 500 grams of water. So it's a very tight dough. You actually have to stand and jump on the dough and make the dough. So the first day when I was with him, I actually tripped and fell into a box of big ghoni of besan and was fully covered, but they laughed. But it was, it is fun to do all of this. And the process goes from 8 in the morning to 11 in the night to make 3,000 to 4,000 of those pieces. And eventually in the end of the night, he would sell each piece for 3 rupees. Which was just amazing to see. There's so much labor, so much love, so much hard work been put into it. But when they want to give it to anyone, it's just 3 rupees, you know. That was just, standing there just blew my mind about, oh, he's just not charging for any of his hard work, but he's only charging for the material, which brings so much humility and so much, love towards his own craft. That's one of the biggest things I learned from these guys. The other guys just wanted to pose with me, so I took a photo with him. He said, I have tattoos, so I want to be with him. So I said, okay, nothing much of a difference. Things I learned from this guy was how to make ghevar, how to make kaju katli, how to make bundi, how to make doodh bundis. Just all so fascinating and so fun to see it, What used to happen was, I used to go and work at these places, and I would come back to Bombay Canteen, and in the night, from 12 in the night to 8 in the morning, I used to relearn whatever was being made. So it took a long time, because the besan that you would use in Jaipur is totally different from the besan that you would get in Bombay. totally different. So which I didn't realize. I thought the most easiest mithai to make was motichur. Make a batter, pass it through the chara, put in sugar syrup, done. But it made me cry a lot. It's really difficult. In the kadai there, you can see I was trying to make Karachi halwa. That's the halwa made from cornstarch. In down south, we make it from wheat flour. So I knew the process of making from wheat flour, but not from corn flour. It took approximately a month and a half to figure out how exactly it needs to be, because what I used to do was go and eat also in other sweet shops. I would come back and be like, this is what I want to do. This is what it is. Like, for example, a motichur you get in every shops, but what for me motichur was that when I break a laddu, I need to see each and every bundi. First one. Second point, when I eat it, I need to taste each and every bundi. Now, how do I reach that level? There's not many mithai shops in India who goes to that level of excellency, even though it just looks round. Just as simple as it. It's so simple, but how do you get that? That was the whole process. So for in Karachi halwa, it was like, it needs to stretch like a rubber band, but same time when I eat it, it needs to melt. And how do you get that? There are no books. You can't call up someone. I actually randomly called one mithai shop and asked him about it, and he spoke something in Marwari, which I never understood, still now. and I hung up. It led to a lot of desperation. I was in Bandra. I live in Bandra, so whichever halwai shop, I would just barge in and be like, please teach me this. Always never positive answers. But, after a lot of work, you actually got where you wanted to reach. So that is very important. The middle one is basically what we used to do was make, the whole idea of Bombay Sweet Shop was to reimagine sweets. So how do you get there? You make a tradition-based sweet, make it as tradition as possible. So you can see we used a peda stamp and we made a regular peda. And then we cut it. Most of your peda, you do get some type of fillings, but sometimes you don't get it. So we added a filling. And then you see the last one, that's how we reimagined it. So we actually took the same peda and made the toppers into a 3D figure. A lot more work, but when you eat it, it does taste like a regular peda itself. You don't want to create a peda or a mithai that when you taste it, tastes completely different, a foreign, You want to make it taste as it was before, with really good ingredients and stuff. So that was the whole process of learning for 2 years. So for 2 years, I spent, let's say, from 12 in the night to 8 in the morning, trying to recreate this. We then opened up, and then after 2 weeks, we hit the pandemic. We had to shut down, stop, and then we opened again in June. So this is where Bombay Sweet Shop right now is at. So if you see in the middle, there is ghevar. That's filled with strawberries. Usually ghevar is served with rabdi. For me, I think rabdi is nothing but a type of paisam because it is reduced milk end of the day without any grains or anything. But for me, I think in that direction. So why not put rice kheer on the bottom of the ghevar because it's similar. And then top it up with strawberries because my Western knowledge taught me that rice pudding and strawberries go well together. And then why not put in the ghevar? Most of the people were wondering, what is this guy doing? But actually it tastes well. We actually sold a lot, so that is a good thing. The biggest thumbs up comes up when your Marwari community actually says it tastes good and they buy more. So it actually works well. On the way there, you can see the colorful, those look like Jim Jam biscuits. So that was the idea. How do you recreate or reimagine that something that I had as a kid, that my mom used to give me Jim Jam if I got some marks. That was the imagine. Now I can make my own. But how do you reimagine and how do you recreate it in a mithai so that people, young people and young generations can actually get more approachable to it? So that was the idea there. So we have a saffron biscuit and vanilla barfis that is with jam fillings. This side is badam pak and some of our namkeens and stuff like that. This is the entire some of the mithai collections that we do. This is the world of Bombay Sweet Shop where we try to reimagine, recreate, have fun with Indian sweets, and this is something that I really like doing it. We have a lot more other products, but this is some of our mithais at this point in time. Okay, what did I learn from this amazing journey? It's been 20 years for me in this business right now from WGSHA, but as profession, it's only been 15 years of working. That's a chocolate box that's made from strawberries, which we sell a lot of that. Something that I would like to share, that I have only learned this, or I've done this from past few years. First is, find the positives during your tough times. You know, your entire life, you're going to have a lot of difficult times. When you start working, maybe some people have already gone through tough times coming here. You will have a lot of difficult times in the career, in your lifetime, and it is good to have tough times, because if you go through it, you will be a stronger person towards the end of it. But you need to find your positives, because during tough times, the only thing that you see will be all negatives. You'll be like, why is this happening to me? Why is it not happening to anyone else? Or this has happened to me again. Or none of my products are turning out right. None of my recipes are turning out right. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Or I didn't get a job for some reason. And why is this only for me and no one else? It's always difficult to see the positive during these times. But 5 years down the line, you will be like, thank God I didn't get that job. Thank God that didn't work out for me. Thank God that didn't work out for me at all. And that is only after 5 years you start to see. But I, these days, try to see the positive right now, because, like I said, during creating Bombay Sweet Shop, when I used to work night shifts, I was like, why is this night shift only for me? But I'm happy it happened, because if that didn't happen, I would not be able to create the products or learn as much about myself and the products of Mithai that I would do it, you know. So always try to find your positives during your tough times. If you have to choose in your life for the first 10 years, I'm not saying you need to make money, because otherwise none of us will survive. But if you have to choose for the first 10 years of your career, choose learning. You know, wherever, because you're from WGSHA, it's a great place, great college, you will get attracted to a lot of really good places. And when you have a choice of 3-4 places to join, choose which where you will learn more, not where you get a good designation or good salary. Choose where you're going to learn the most, and where your job is going to be much more challenging, and where it's going to be much more difficult. Because I think it would take you 10 years to learn or get really good at something in a skill-based or anything that you want to do. So the first 10 years, always choose learning if you have to. That is how I approached all of my jobs so far, is saying that if I get to learn here much more, why not? And if I'm not learning in this job, okay, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to start from scratch again, and I know I can build up forward. And that kind of confidence will only come, you know, in time. But like I said, if you get a chance, choose learning. The last thing which I would like to share is this. To work, we have the right, but not to the fruits. This is something my mom told me for the longest time, which I never understood until the last 5 years. And this is straight up from the Bhagavad Gita. But this is something that makes so much sense these days for me. As a student, or as a chef, or as anything, you have the right to work, and you need to put in all your effort for that time, but don't always expect something from it, you know. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to get that. No, you may not get it at all, but that does not stop you from working hard. Same time, if I start to think, if I had told people that I'm going to be a Mithaiwala, and people would start making fun of me, I would be like in a fear of what is going to happen to me. You know, if I had that fear, I don't think I would be here in my life. But my whole idea was, let me do this. Let me put all my effort, all my heart, all my hard work into learning this Mithai. And whatever the results that will happen, it is meant to happen, because I don't have any control over this. So same way as students today, you need to just go all out, work really hard, give your 100%. Sometimes you may not, but try your best. But don't go after the results of what is going to happen. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Last year, we had a collaboration with the Parle-G. Chef Thiru asked me to talk about it. I think Parle-G has been there forever. And, you know, this is the first time in their entire life they actually wanted to collab with any brand. And that was the brand with Bombay Sweet Shop that we made actually last year. You might have seen parlay products everywhere, but they actually wanted to get their market into the younger crowds. And it was really nice to see how they approached us at Bombay Sweet Shop, saying that, we want to be with you guys. And we actually ran an entire collaboration for 6 months, and it was really, amazing to see a brand like that big want to work with a brand this small at this stage. And, that tells you where the hard work and where we have reached and how people are noticing. So, like I said, if you put all your hard work and work hard honestly and give your 100%, you don't have to worry about your results, because it will come to you no matter what happens. And, that was when Parlay wanted to collaborate with us at Sweet Shop. It just reminded what my mom said about the last statement for me. Eventually it will come what has to happen. Those 2 years of working night shift, was wondering, I think my parents were also extremely nervous when I had to be a Mithaiwala. Luckily this time they didn't know whom to go to, unlike last time. So this time they actually sat at home, and I think they must have prayed all the gods. But they're actually happy to see where I am. So to be, at least they can relate to Indian sweets much more than the Western. So always, I'm very happy for that right now. And congratulations and good luck everyone here. It's going to be an amazing time. Manipal, besides the college, which I don't want to speak, but the town is amazing. It's a great town. You'll have great memories, and you will have fun. And I can't wait to see where you guys are going to go from here. And thank you so much, everyone, and good luck. Yeah.
Let us never stop learning, growing, and innovating, with a sweet hope that the insights shared will be a constant source of inspiration to our young audience. Thank you, Chef Girish. With full spirits, let us welcome Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand, our alumnus from the 19th course BHM. Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand is the Cluster Director of Revenue, Remote Revenue Management London, and Millennium Hotels and Resorts Singapore. With an experience of 14 years in revenue management in dynamic markets like Dubai, Malaysia, London, and India, he was part of the opening team of the prestigious Grand Hyatt Kochi. He is currently looking after the cluster revenue management functionalities for multiple hotels of Millennium Hotels across London. I cordially invite Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand to address our students.
Chef Thiru sir, Meenakshi ma'am, my faculty family, fellow alumni, students and parents. It's been an unbelievable experience for me. 19 years ago when I stepped into the college, I never thought I'd come back. I was a very mediocre student. I wasn't a top 20 student. I was first year, but BGSHA happened. It was 4 years of BGSHA that have actually groomed my entire life. How do I say? So revenue management back when we were in college, it was not even a subject. It was very new. Even in the industry, it was very new. It is something that was adapted from the airline industry. Hotels adapted it and made it better. So if you look at the industry right now as well, not many people get into revenue management because people really don't know about it. My batch of 100 people, there are 2 of us. That's it. My senior batch, there's 1. 17 course, 1. So that's how it is. So going back to my journey in BGSHA, I never put my eggs into one basket. I always wanted to be a chef. And that's why I came to BGSHA. And Girish would always say this because we spent hours cooking for festivals together where he named me as a pancake chef. Because I was making pancakes all over the night and Girish was roasting the pig. So we've spent hours in the bakery, we spent hours in the kitchen, but I just couldn't fulfill my dream to become a chef because I've played sports all my life. I'm a two-sport, represented Kerala for under 14, 16, 19 state. Basketball for Kerala state as well and schools. Played for University Manipal 4 years as well as cricket as well. But I had an injury in my back. So I was very scared to start a career in the kitchen, knowing the long timings and the work that you have to put in to become a chef. So I didn't get a job out of college. I did, but I didn't take it. I took a sabbatical for 7 months, and I traveled the world a bit. I went off to Egypt, a bit of Africa, and that's when it struck me that my parents spent so much money sending me here to WGSHA, and I'm not doing anything to give back to the industry. I have to tell you this, that WGSHA has helped me in every stage of my career, be it through the faculty, be it through the connections that we have made in this college, your seniors, your juniors, whoever it is. So I'm sitting in Egypt, in Cairo, in the banks of the River Nile, on a cruise, and I pick up the phone, and I call my roommate, Jatin Kher, who's no more anymore. I called him up and I said, I need a job. He was then the management trainee for Marriott at Chennai, and all he said was, pack your bags when you're in India, come to Chennai. I landed, told my parents, I have an interview. I didn't have an interview, to be honest. I went there, he said, come, let's go meet the general manager. Mr. Karan Berry was the general manager, he met me. Within 4 hours, he said, join work. And I started my career in hotels as a telephone operator at the Courtyard by Marriott Chennai. When all my batchmates probably were going through a management training program who joined as assistant managers at some point, I was here picking up telephones and serving guests. Initially, I wasn't very proud of it, but then WGSHA has taught me something, that if you put your head down, you work hard, your results will come. It took me just 3 months to get promoted, thanks to another WGSHite, the 17th-course alumni, Srinivas Adiga, who was my AFOM, who pushed me, who made me, probably I would have hated him at that time, because the shifts sometimes used to be 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I used to do 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. But he made sure that 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., I learned something different. I learned more about front office. I thank him today, because if it wasn't for him, I got promoted and I said no to the promotion. So then the general manager and Srinivas asked me, what do you want? I said, I saw an opening in Dubai. I want to transfer. Within 3 weeks, I was on a plane to the Renaissance in Dubai as a front desk receptionist. Luck, maybe. 3 days after me joining, there's a program, there's a practice in Dubai hotels where there's something called a mystery shopper call. Basically, the manager on duty calls the hotel and makes sure that the protocol is followed on how to make a reservation or whatever query it is. It's basically a checkpoint and audit, so that when the external audit call comes in, your staff is properly trained. My luck be it, Mr. Mahmood, who was the director of revenue of that hotel, was the mystery caller. He called me at the desk. He didn't know who I was. And I'd made the perfect reservation, because you've got 17 steps to make a reservation, and I'd learned that in Chennai. Srini had taught me how to do it, so it went through a perfect call. So he came down to the desk and I said, who picked up that call? So I said, sir, it was me. He said, I don't know you. I said, I joined 3 days back. He said, okay. Why don't you join the reservations team? I said, sir, I just got transferred from India. It takes me minimum of 3 months. Only then can I, probably take a transfer. Within the next week, he spoke to the general manager, moved to reservations. Rest is history. A year down, I was reservation manager for Marriott. We got deflagged. Deflagged means one brand moves out, another brand comes in. We became the Crown Plaza overnight. And reservation manager. He was a director of revenue, started teaching me stuff. Eventually, another WGSHite came into my life, a couple of years later, who calls me on a very interesting note. He's an alumnus of the 16th course, Mr. Ashish Narang. He calls me and says, I've never spoken to him in college except once. He calls me and he says, are you in Dubai? I said, yes. Do you want to get a cup of coffee? I said, yes. So there's a practice in Dubai. When you're a lower grade staff, you don't have your own suits. You have to wear the uniforms. So me being me and Dubai being Dubai, when it is 40, 50 degrees, I was wearing t-shirts, shorts and a flip-flop. I finished work. I took the metro. I went to the hotel. I waited for him in the lobby. And I'm wearing shorts in a 5-star deluxe hotel with flip-flops sitting in the lobby. So he comes out, says, let's go grab a coffee. Went, sat down, had a coffee with him. And he starts asking me all these weird questions. He's like, what's your comp set like? Who are your producing accounts? What's your RGI? And I'm thinking, why is he asking me all this? He's not asking me how I am, where I am nowadays, nothing. 45 minutes he grilled me. So I said, see, listen, we're out of WGSHA now, you can't do all this. So we finished our coffee. We stepped out. I said, shall I take leave? He said, tomorrow when you come in a suit and a tie. I said, for what? He said, you have to meet the general manager. I said, for what? This was your interview. And that's how I joined Dubai Hyatt Regency Galleria as Assistant Revenue Manager for a 414-room hotel and 377 apartments. 13 outlets. It's one of the biggest hotels in Dubai. Not now, back then. 2010 I'm talking about. That's where my journey started into hardcore revenue management. And Mr. Ashish Narang was so grateful that he left the company exactly 1 month after I joined. I was 23 years old, 24 years old, and my next HOD was 47. I was the only Indian among the HOD team, and I used to get grilled every day. I had an Aussie rooms division manager, director of rooms actually. I will never forget him in my life. He would go change rates right before the morning meeting, which I had set previous night. And then he'll go show that report to the GM and says, this boy does not know what he's doing. So one day I took snapshots of it, kept it. He changed it, went and showed it to him. I sent it to my GM before the meeting. He said, don't screw around now. He said, that boy is doing whatever he has to do. So for 2 years, I practically managed a 700-room hotel alone. And it was already quite a long time in Dubai, kind of bored. Did a few other helping out in other IG hotels. I said, okay, let me take a break and go home. Sitting in the tarmac after, exiting Dubai, sitting in the tarmac, and I get a message on LinkedIn from the revenue manager at Courtyard by Marriott, Chennai, Vasundhara Nasa. She was then the area head of revenue management in Malaysia for IG. She said, where are you? I said, I'm on a plane back home. Switch on your phone the minute you land. There's a call that's waiting for you. I said, fine. I land back at 3 o'clock a.m., 7 a.m. India time, which is 9:30 Malaysia. I get a call asking, would you like to come be the area revenue manager for Malaysia? And that's where my journey, second journey of my life starts to Malaysia, where I spent 3 years looking out for 3 hotels, holiday in 3 hotels in Malaysia. I spent about 11 to 12 years abroad, and I was really kind of, getting sick of living abroad because you never have the freedom of living in India because India is always home, right? You're a first country. It's your country. You're not a third world citizen in India. That made me say, okay, I'll take a break probably. Thought I'll come. Interestingly, because of my stint which I did at the Hyatt, I was fortunate enough to hand over the hotel to the area director of revenue of Dubai who had just come in a week before. Her name was Kelly Spole. I called Kelly up and I told her, I'm going back to India. If there's anything that you can do for me, please let me know. A week later, I get an email saying that, are you willing to go to Kochi? Now that's where I grew up. So I said, yes, of course, that's where I grew up. And that's when we opened the biggest Grand Hyatt in probably Asia in terms of expense. It's a 1,600 crore property, 1 million square feet of banquet space, 264 rooms, and it's on an island where both sides are water. It's a property, and my friend and colleague Rahul Pavitran joined me at the same hotel 10 months after I joined. I was part of the pre-opening team as head of revenue. He joined as a senior sales leader, and we spent a good 18 to 20 months working together with that hotel. And you know where that hotel is, probably one of the best hotels doing business in India right now. Moved out, became a head of South India for Hilton, looking after Bangalore, Chennai, and Trivandrum. COVID hit. Was getting paid 5% salary. I said, I'm going home. I can't survive on 5% salary. Took a sabbatical for 8 months. COVID was relaxed, and that's when London happened. So it's been 2.5 years for me. I've been working from home. COVID made people realize that you don't need revenue guys to sit and work from a hotel. And they also realized that it's much cheaper for the revenue guy to sit, because the salary that I get paid for 7 hotels is what they pay one guy in London for looking after one hotel. So cost effective, and it works well for me. Like last night, I was working till 4 in the morning after we had dinner. I got a call at 12 o'clock, so I was working till 4. But it works out at some point in time because you're with family, and it works out well. It's more flexible. As long as you get your work done, you communicate, and you make sure that your hotels are your focus. Sky's the limit, to be honest. So my 2 cents for you guys: be humble, be polite, stay focused. Hard work will definitely bring you results. Put your 100%. Connect. Connect is a very important thing. The person sitting next to you probably will be the person who's going to help you next, or your junior, or your senior, whoever it is. Because I've learned it that way. All my life, everywhere, there was always a workshop to help me. And if it was not for Tirusur to ask me to come here, the reason why I chose revenue management as well is because I hate talking in public. I'm the person who sits behind a computer and decides what strategy and rates the hotel should do and guides the sales team to achieve the numbers. That's my role. I can't talk in public. That's why I'm never part of any guest interactions or anything. My only interactions are with the stakeholders and the general managers and the owners. That's where it ends. So thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, Chef Thiru, for bringing me back. It's always an honor to come back home. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your journey and experiences, which perfectly resonates with the essence of today's event. We extend our heartfelt thanks to your inspirational words. Your guidance will be cherished by our new students. As we open to new insights, may our spirits be lifted and our actions be guided by the intentions we have set forth. Mr. Rahul Pavitran is our alumnus from 20th course BHM. He is currently serving as the Director of Sales, Grand Hyatt, Gurgaon. He started his journey as Associate Director of Sales at Fairmont Hotels and Resorts, following W Hotels and Grand Hyatt Kochi, Bolgati. He later served as a Cluster Director of Sales at Hyatt Regency, Trivandrum. His areas of expertise are sales revenue and distribution management, team management and leadership, cluster and regional sales, product sales and marketing, interdepartmental coordination, new business development, and consumer experience management. He has been awarded with the prestigious Wall of Fame Award at the Taj from the COO. He carries to his sleeve a total of 19 years of experience in sales, marketing, and general administration. It's our privilege to have you with us today, sir. We request you to address the students.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a long day so far. Is anyone sleepy as of now? I want this to be interactive a bit. I mean, if you want to ask questions, please stop and ask. And I would start from April 2005. I mean, that's when I came to Manipal. I did not come for WGSHA. I came to give the exam for MIT, and I fell in love with Manipal as a city. And later, I mean, things happened, and I was here in WGSHA. I was in Chennai first giving the examination where I met Valsraj sir, and then I was here. Chef Thiru, thank you for bringing me back after 15 years. The city has, and the college has not just molded me professionally, the city has a very personal significance also. As sir told you in the morning, my better half, I found her here from one of the colleges. I was just selling tickets, that's it. So, in 2005 when I joined, I remember same hall, my father was here, my auntie was here with us, and honestly, I was clueless. I had not even a single clue that there are IIHMs which exist, IIHM colleges which exist in India. I only knew WGSHA, that's it. And I was like, this is the thing, and this is where I should be, and I had no clue what I should do. In a week or two, thanks to the orientation program, I was friendly with my seniors, especially the 18th course. And I looked up to them, I saw Thomas Zach, and I was like, I want to be a chef. And I started attending all these food festivals. In the first food festival, they made me wash woks. That's all I did. Chef Rahul threw woks at me like every 5 minutes. Clean this, clean this. So that was fun. But I guess in the first food festival, which was Ban Thai, it was a Thai food festival which we did. Prior to me entering the kitchen stewarding for that matter, I was given 10 tickets on one of the days, and I was told to sell those 10 tickets. I was like, ye kaise karna hai? How do I do this? Like, so many students in Manipal go around and sell it. I'm like, okay. I went out and came back in half an hour, sold all 10 tickets. And my seniors won't believe me. They were like, you sold 10 tickets in half an hour? Nobody does that. They won't sell one ticket in the entire day. I said, give me more. And I guess in the 3 days, I sold 100 tickets. That was a record then. Apparently that's what my seniors told me. And probably that's when I realized that I am not cut out for operations. I am a sales guy. And that's exactly what I did in 4 years. The college gave me enough and more opportunities to harness my skill there. I mean, we had food festivals. I would be part of the kitchen later on, but initially I would sell these tickets, meet people, create connections. I had friends in every hostel here, every college, be it engineering, pharma. I knew Allied Health Sciences had how many divisions, for that matter. KMC, every one. I mean, for that matter, I had a Nokia 1100. I could only have 1,000 numbers in that, and my phone book would be full. That's how well I was connected, thanks to the interpersonal skills which were taught here. If you would have asked the 2005 Rahul to come and stand here on the stage and speak, he would have ran away. That is exactly what this college has taught me. How to communicate, how to create connections, and how to harness your skills and be better, right? I'll briefly tell you about my career journey so far. So in 2008, as I said, I want to be in sales, and everyone told me that ITC sales, all my seniors told me that ITC sales is what you should gear up for. And I checked with my batch slightly that who all are interested in sales. And I found out there are only 3 people. I mean, there's no competition. Very nice. so I'll do this. And on the day of when ITC sales came in, the guys who wanted to be chef, they're sitting there giving interview. My own roommate, Hussain Shehzad, the number one, the topper, he's sitting there, and I'm not chosen, he's chosen. And he never even went for ITC sales. I mean, he took OCLD for that matter. We had a different argument in the hostel after that. I was shattered though. I mean, I still remember I was so shattered that I didn't want to sit for any other interview. And then Chef Thiru, Chef Valsraj sir, these fatherly figures came and they were like, Rahul, Taj is coming next. There's Marriott, the Hilton, the Hyatt's lined up. Why are you so worried? There is a job for you, and just wait. And I sat for Taj, and I'm telling these guys, I'm a sales guy. They took me as HOMT front office. And I didn't sit for anything after that because honestly Taj was a great company to start off with. And I joined them. I went to Aurangabad from here, did 1 month stint there, post which I was given Vivanta by Taj, Whitefield, Bangalore as my first hotel. And I still remember I joined on December 31st. A crazy day, the entire hotel was booked and I had no clue about what the hotel is, what are the rooms were, the washrooms, and I was made to stand in the lobby. And I was the only one with a different suit, so people thought I'm a senior manager. I was I was a management trainee. And people came and asked me that, Rahul, ye kahan hua? I'm like, I don't know. But I somehow managed. Worked 6 straight months in night shift. Had health issues, but I mean, I was just learning. I mean, I started from putting newspaper in the room, taking baggage up to the room, and taking check-ins, check-outs. But within 6 months, I understood every bit of front office, and I was so good that I could take 4 check-outs or 4 check-ins at the same time. And one fine day, a couple of my duty managers left, and they didn't show up in the shift. And that day, my front office manager gave me a business card saying that from today onwards, you're a duty manager. I'm like, kuch letter milega? He said, no, this is what you get. You work more now. I took that. I never said no to any challenges which came my way. And probably that's one of the reasons why I learned so much from the industry too. Because you can ask my wife about it. Whatever, if my company says go to Trivandrum, go to Kochi, go to Gurgaon, I have never said no. I've moved around, and that's something which the company looks up to me now for. That wherever there's trouble, they send me, and that's purely because I never said no to anything. And that's one piece of advice which I give to all of you: that never say no to the challenges which are coming your way. Post which, one fine day I realized that I'm a sales guy. What am I doing in front office? I was upselling rooms. I mean, a guy would book a room for 5,000, 7,000 rupees. I would chipkaw him a suite for 20,000. One day I sold the presidential suite to a guy who had booked a 7,500 rupee room for 1,25,000 rupees for a week. And my director of sales and marketing took notice, and she called me. She's like, what are you doing in front office? I said, I've been telling you guys, I'm not a front office guy. Move me to sales. She tried her best to move me to sales in Taj. It did not work out, the way it works. She moved out to Accor, and that's when I started my sales journey. She took me as a sales coordinator. That's a base position. I was already a duty manager. I went down. She gave me a decent salary hike, and I moved in sales. And I did not know what to do there. She taught me everything. And as I said, the second piece of advice is choose your mentors wisely. Who are your mentors? And you are as good as your mentors. Your faculties are your mentors, your industry peers would be your mentors. For me, even Rohit Chand is a mentor because I look up to him when it comes to revenue management. So I moved there, she taught me about the basics of sales, she moved me to other hotels. Wherever she moved, I moved with her. I got opportunity to work in the best hotels in India, the flagship hotels. I worked in the Leela Palace, Bangalore. I worked in Fairmont, Jaipur, W Goa. I worked in Grand Hyatt, Kochi, which is one of the finest properties in India for that matter. And right now, currently, I'm working with the Grand Hyatt Gurgaon in the capacity of director of sales and events. When I joined this hotel, the hotel was doing 20% occupancy. I was got in from, flew down from Trivandrum to here just to salvage the property. Right now, we're sitting at 72-75% occupancy. We make around 8 to 9 crores a month, which is decent for that property as of now. And scaling it up every single day. So that's my journey so far. And a few tips. I'm not going to take it, make it longer. You have any questions so far about my career or sales and marketing? Please feel free to ask. Raise your hand and ask. Your first years and fourth years had a lot of questions yesterday. Anyone? Okay. I just want to leave this with few tips for you, which I have already mentioned here. Number one, create connections. It is, as Rohit was saying, as Girish pointed out, as everyone spoke about it, it is the connections which you make here which takes you places. Wherever I've been, whichever company I've worked in, there has been a workshop who has helped. I'll tell you about a girl from MHM here, Kripa Mary. I took an interview a couple of years back, 1.5 years back for the industrial trainee for her internship in Grand Hyatt, Kochi. And I had no clue about this girl. All I knew that she is from Waksha. And the family thing came into my head that she's my sister, I have to take care of her. And that's how we all are. It's a giant family, right? So I took her into the fold, taught her basics of sales and marketing. She finished her internship. I had the letter for her joining, appointment letter in my department there. However, one of my batchmates called me up that, Rahul, she's a nice girl, you have taught her really well. I'm taking her to Taj in Bangalore. I said, don't do that to me, I've spent some time on her. And yesterday I found out that Rohit has helped her getting a revenue job in Dubai. So that's how small the world is, and that's how well we. Apart from that, I mentioned about having great mentors. You are as good as your mentors. Have great mentors. Third point, which is very important, which is very relevant, especially when you become a leader, is you really need to reinvent yourself. I call it as self-engineering yourself. Be taking care of your well-being, or just changing the mindset, or learning something new, as my other alumni have told you. But self-engineering is really important these times, especially after COVID. Things have changed. Everything has gone digital. I'm doing courses on how to handle digital marketing, because earlier it was just put a post and you're done. But right now, digital marketing is the thing to go to. In fact, digital marketing right now is how revenue management was 10, 15 years back. Nobody knew about it. But right now, people are doing courses on it, and there is a dearth of talent in the industry when it comes to revenue management. When it comes to digital marketing. And as everyone else said, be humble. It takes you places. I mean, I learned it pretty late in my life. I was very arrogant in the beginning of my career. I wanted to be a director of sales and marketing, general manager. By the time I'm 29, I did everything possible. But a few of my guests humbled me down. I mean, I met Mr. Narayana when Rishi Sunak was getting married, and I saw how he spoke with me, folded hands, and he could have just thrown me out. I was just a sales manager. But he spoke in a very poised, very humble manner, and I learned that from him. I learned that from few of my other clients, the ones who gave me a lot of business, and life has taught me to be humble, and that's something which I take forward and which I would want you also to be, right? Thank you guys, all the best. Have 2 amazing years in Waksha, and I want to say something which my wife said 2 days back. So she said, when we talk to our colleagues who are not from Manipal and other places, they talk about their colleges, they talk about their universities. Hamara to pura shehar hai. And the memories of Manipal is something which you can't, I mean, you can take me out of Manipal, but Manipal won't go out of me, right? Thank you guys. Thank you.
Challenges are not a bane, but a great opportunity to learn and relearn. Such a thought-invoking session, especially for the young audience we have in this hall. Thank you, sir, for sharing your professional journey. With delight and pleasure, let us welcome Mr. Abhirup Bandopadhyay, our alumnus from the 20th course BHM. He is currently the General Manager of Holiday Inn Express, High-Tech City, Hyderabad. He is an award-winning hospitality leader with experience in the top domestic market with international exposure. Mr. Bandopadhyay is known to deliver consistent excellence in customer experience and managing verticals profitably with forecast accuracy. Hailing from Rooms Division with a demonstrated history of working at the front office, hospitality management, and customer service, he is a strong administrative professional. He has been awarded the GM of the Quarter in the year 2022 and for South Asia in 2016. He is also the Asia Pacific winner for the Front of the House from Marriott International for his excellence in delivering guest experience. He has optimized upsell revenue in the individual contributor roles and has served as a leader to deliver beyond the targets year over year. I extend a warm invitation to Mr. Abhirup Bandopadhyay to share his journey and experience with us.
Good afternoon. We had such eminent speakers and accomplished faculty members, my seniors, and also my friends. from every field that is possible in hospitality industry, that I wonder if there's anything left for the general manager to say. So yes, I mean, a general manager just accumulates everything put together to set things right. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, and fellow alumni, it's a tremendous honor and privilege to stand before you today as an alumni speaker for the Welcomgroup Graduate School of Hotel Administration. As I look out at this gathering of accomplished individuals, I am reminded of the shared experiences, memories, and journeys that have brought us all together to this moment. WGSHA, as many of us recall, is not just an institution. It is a place where the dreams were nurtured, skills were honed, and friendships were forged that would last a lifetime. Our time at WGSHA was marked by rigorous academic pursuits, practical training, and exposure to the ever-evolving hospitality industry. One of the remarkable aspects of WGSHA is its commitment to excellence. We were not only taught the art of hospitality, but also instilled the values that have guided us in our professional and personal lives: integrity, respect, and a relentless pursuit of excellence were the cornerstones of our education here, and I'm confident that these principles continue to shape the institution's ethos. As an alumni, we have all embarked on diverse paths in the world of hospitality. Some of us are leading the renowned hotel chains, while others have ventured into entrepreneurship, culinary arts, or even academia. Regardless of where the journeys have taken us, one thing remains constant. The foundation we received at the WGSHA continues to be at the driving force of all our careers. The hospitality industry has witnessed significant changes over the years, from technological advancements to shifting customer preferences. It is our responsibility as a proud WGSHA alumni to adapt, innovate, and lead in this dynamic environment. We must continue to learn, evolve, and uphold the standards of excellence that has been installed by our alma mater. Yesterday, we had a very nice session with all the fourth years from the BHM course. There was a very interesting question which resonated to my experience out here almost 15 years back. There was a fourth year student who asked me, "Sir, what if I don't get my preferred choice of department? I'm a front office person, what if I don't get front office? I'm a service person, what if I don't get service?" Some of them were sales and revenue people as well. And that also took me back to my time when I was as confused as, or even as clueless as they were at that point of time. When I joined WGSHA, I was just very happy to be a part of outside of my parents' domain, where, back from Calcutta, the freedom, I enjoyed my friends, I enjoyed everything about Manipal. So that was, I was very happy-go-lucky person with not a defined career path in mind. In fact, when I sat for my interviews, this was with Marriott in 2009, I got picked up as a management trainee, and it was by Mr. Rajiv Menon, who was the area vice president at that point of time. I sat for F&B service. Throughout my journey at WGSHA, I have been a part of all the food festivals only at the bar. Even my club was wine and spirits. So it's always with wines and spirits, that was my forte, that is what I used to think, especially F&B service. It was my personal inhibition that, okay, I'm not one of the tallest guys, so probably I'll not succeed in front office. That was my thought process all throughout. So I sat for F&B service and I sat for revenue management. It was, as they say, not much popular at that point of time, but I thought, okay, I would be good with numbers. So in the CV, we had to write, what departments are you sitting for? So I wrote F&B service / revenue. And there when the interview happened, it was almost half an hour, 45 minutes. There are a few technical questions of revenue, which I had no clue about. So I smiled, I was very affable, and I tried to at least stabilize my position. However, that's when he wrote okay. He asked me a couple of service questions, and then he wrote okay, and it was done with. So when the announcement happened in the evening, I was very happy I got a job. I went out, partied with my friends. A couple of months later, here I start my job. I reported to F&B service the first 7 days. Everything was very nice. I was loving it. I reported to banquets. You asked me anything about the bar. You asked me anything about service. I was doing very well. I think after a week, probably the Monday that followed, HR called me to their office and said, "You have not been reporting to the hotel. What's wrong with you?" I said, "What are you saying, not reporting? I'm doing here more than 12, 14 hours and you're saying I have not reported to work. How is that possible?" They said, "No, you're not been reported. This is what your attendance is for front office." I said, "Front office?" I had no clue about front office. And said, "No, you're selected for front office. You were hired for front office." I said, "How can I be hired for front office? I can't tell the difference between ADR and RevPAR also." At that point of time, that's how blank I was with front office. I said, "No, you were hired for front office." I said, "Ma'am, I'm sure there's a misunderstanding out here. I cannot be hired for front office. I have never even studied front office that well. I'm a F&B service guy, let me be in F&B service. They said, no, F&B service is full. If you want to not continue in front office, wait for a while. So of course, at that point of time, we did not have social media, we did not have LinkedIn, we did not have so many sources. So thus began my destiny and my journey with front office department. So yes, that's how destiny plays out. So of course, not only I learned the ropes, I learned each and every department. I'll narrate a little bit of my journey out here because of course it was not something which was properly planned, but that's how life played out. I got selected as a management trainee from the college in 2009 by Marriott. My first posting, Courtyard, Ahmedabad pre-opening. It's a 2 years management training program. The second property I got, which is now the Westin Powai, which was then called the Renaissance Mumbai. It's a 700-room property. People have been working there for 20 years, very, very long time. And you are a management trainee, so you are not the most welcome person. Probably because they know that years' time you're going to come and tell them what to do. And that's not favorable. But that is where I learned more essential skills than just the technical part. That's the people skills. In any industry that you go to, people skills is what's going to take you forward. People skills is what's going to make sure that you will become a leader. People skills is why you would be differentiating yourself out. So that's how you get along with them. Yet you have to convince them, get things done. That's how my life journey began. I completed my second year at Renaissance Mumbai. Everything went well. It's a huge hotel. So they had a lot of hierarchy, director of rooms, assistant director of rooms, front office manager, assistant front office manager. Lot of hierarchies going out there. So I finished my management training program. Again, as life would have it, I got my final offer as a duty manager. This was at Courtyard, Ahmedabad, and which I already did in my first year. So that's probably the first time in my 1 year when I went up to my director of operations and said, sir, I already went to Ahmedabad. I don't want to go to Ahmedabad all over again. He said, why, yeah? Dry state. I said, no, this is nothing like that. It's just that I want to do some different hotel. He said, okay, let me collect your feedback. Your appraisal has not yet come. Let's see how it goes. Back then, Marriott was only 25 to 27 hotels altogether in India. And Mr. Gerard Graf, I remember him correctly, he was operating all the departments, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, everything put together. He had a rule, whosoever performs the best in the management training program, from each discipline, one from front office, one from service, one from culinary, would get an international placement. So, okay, I got Ahmedabad, I went back. I was doing night shift like most of my colleagues back then. So yes, I went back to sleep. I think it was around 8 in the morning, somebody from hotel called, said, you got an international placement. I said, please let me sleep, don't bother me, I'm surely not the one. I never had any family, any friends, any benefactors in the industry. Yeah, so that's been my background. My entire family is of engineers, so it was another drama to convince them to come to WGSHA. That's a different talk, rest assured. So nonetheless, so yes, I get a call at probably around 8 in the morning. I'm not convinced. I get again called by somebody at 11. I'm not convinced. I was like, okay, this is not happening. I went back to the hotel. Then I saw, okay, there were a couple of people waiting with a cake and everything. So that's when I realized that all the work that we put in on a daily basis, which we do not realize, is this effect of sincerity, which how I think about it. That's what accumulates into you being the number one. There were so many people. I think 80% was IHM Aurangabad, and 20% was picked up from WGSHA. But that's how you stand out. It's that hard work put together. When you don't realize one fine day, the results come and shine on your face. That's how the international placement happened for me. This was Malaysia, Renaissance Kuala Lumpur. I was living in the hotel, expat package, imagine 3 years. In the thing, the only 2 people in that hotel was the general manager and me. So not even any of the HODs. So that's how it was. Renaissance Kuala Lumpur, again, a very old property. Back then, it was the largest property. It's a 1,000-room hotel of entire Marriott in Southwest Asia. Imagine my boss was a Sri Lankan, I was a duty manager who was Indian, I had associates who were Pakistanis, and I had associates who had all from diverse origins. Some of them would not even talk to me, some of them were like, okay, what roster he'll make for me. So there was so much of diversity. Again, it's all the people skills and how you would get people together. Sometimes I would not even understand the guests fighting among themselves. There were 2 Chinese guests fighting among themselves, I had to call somebody to understand also what's happening. So that's how crazy it was. So it's all about how you get people together and convince them to come together. And I mean, it was a great run. Unfortunately, my father passed away. I had to come back to India, grateful to the company. They got me back to Renaissance Mumbai again as a duty manager. Post that, I think by the time I had done almost 4 years of duty manager. And I was kind of bored with doing the same thing all over again. I also, like Didhiti, always wanted to switch the industry by that point of time, find something more suitable. I realized, that's the most challenging part. The first 4 or 5 years as a first-time manager, how you break through that. Because that's where people get stagnated, and that's why you lose your patience. You feel, okay, nothing's going to happen for me in this industry, let's move out. But as with most of my seniors, I had applied just online for Hyatt Chennai. I did not even know who was who at that point of time. We did not have LinkedIn. I get a call, somebody said, okay, the front office manager would like to speak to you. I said, okay. I think I was traveling to the hotel or something. I get a call from my immediate senior, his batchmate, who was Mr. Varun Mohan. He was the front office manager at that point of time. He asked me a couple of questions, of course, got things right, and I was hired immediately. And this is a particular chain which you would see recurring in every single WGSHA's life. In fact, when I was hired there as an AFOM, I got a girl who called me. She's Ankita Mathur, 21st course. So, 19th course, FOM, 20th course, AFOM, and then duty manager, 21st course. That's how, chain of life goes. And it's the power of networking within the WGSHA's. That's how it is. He knew me, I knew her, we have all worked together, we have seen each other, so that's how convincing things were. So that's been my journey till Hyatt Chennai. Got called back again at Marriott. This was at Courtyard Raipur as a front office manager. Again, out there from Raipur, people did not have much expectations. People did not understand why I would want to go to a tier 3 city. But my presumption was if I can do something remarkable over there, I would not have too much competition and it's easier to come across. I was able to score the 3rd highest guest satisfaction index amongst all the hotels that there is in Marriott, beating all the JWs, beating all the Ritz-Carltons that was in Southwest Asia. Got called in the GM's conference, got promoted as well to Courtyard Gurgaon. This was in the year 2018. Again got promoted as a multi-property rooms division manager. This was in Bangalore, Courtyard and Fairfield. That was another stint of about a year and a half. Got promoted as an operations manager. This was at Sri Perumbudur, which is in Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Operations manager, the ownership, by that time I've been working with the same one. They offered me the general manager's role. So it's all about the perseverance story that we learn at WGSHA, which propels us forward. So I thought I'll just share my story as a wholesome. That's it. Thank you from my side. Wishing all the new joiners best of luck and all the very best for your life at WGSHA and for your future ahead. Thank you.
We deeply value your motivating words. Thank you, sir, for sharing with us your valuable thoughts and your journey. It has added a special significance to our aspiring students. As we draw the curtains on this enriching and memorable program, I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude. The experiences and wisdom shared by our esteemed dignitaries will be a lasting treasure for our young minds as we end this ceremony. Your presence here today has elevated our event and added a layer of significance that words can scarcely capture. Now, may I invite our Principal Dr. Chef Thiru and Vice Principal Dr. Rajshekhar to come forward and felicitate our esteemed dignitaries. I request all the dignitaries to stay on the stage for a group photograph later on. I would like to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Meenakshi Garg. May I now invite our distinguished alumni, Ms. Abhilasha, Ms. Didhiti Chopra, Ms. Elizabeth Yorke, Chef Girish Nayak, Mr. Rohit Pradeep Chand, Mr. Rahul Pavitran, and Mr. Abhirup Bandyopadhyay.
Thank you, esteemed dignitaries. We are proud to display a wide spread of Rajasthani cuisine being prepared by the students of MA Indian Cuisine and Food Culture. As we are celebrating the International Year of Millets 2023 and National Nutrition Month, the students of Dietetics and Applied Nutrition have worked extensively to highlight the diversity of Indian cuisine, keeping millets as their focus. I request everyone to have a look at the millet stall placed at the end of this hall. We also acknowledge the service provided by the students of Hotel Management and Culinary Arts. Please enjoy your meal, and we look forward to see you all at 3 p.m. sharp. Thank you. In the post-lunch session, we have organized a faculty member's introduction followed by a cultural program. Thank you.